Welcome.
Old souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between. Welcome back for another week of Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jessie Ellie. What up, everybody? I am here in a Vibe podcast studio. As always, we got our bottle on deck, we got our cups on deck, and I got some guests in the studio tonight. And what's that? I think I have some turntables on my table. Whoa! And whose turntables are those? Survive.
Those belong to DJ Slipwax.
Hey! What up, Slip?
That's my mixer, though. That's my mixer. Let's clarify that.
And then who's this mysterious voice who just entered Slipwax into the podcast?
My name's Clue. I go by Clue.
Mysterious.
Not too mysterious. No, my name's Clue-it. They call me Clue-it.
They call him that because that's his birth name.
Clue it because he do it.
I like that.
Better than most people.
Hashtag.
Like, you should get a clue. I'm like, I've never heard that. That is amazingly original.
Did they ever reference the Clue like game board?
I can't believe. Yeah, they're like, which character are you? And I'm like, Chutes and Ladders.
Snakes and ladders. Throwback. So what up, y'all?
Chilling. First of all, thank you for having us. Super stoked to be here. I guess we're just going to chat a little bit about how we got into certain crafts, mostly DJing, and then we're going to showcase a couple skills, and hopefully people can keep up.
Facts. So, guys, just a quick little introduction to who these two awesome men are that I have on the show today. Knew them from way back in the day. We met through, different artistic venues and events, and, we got Clue, who does his full-time artistry. He does, I don't even know what to call it, drawing, making, creating, putting together. He made me this dope thing. If anyone's watching the video, it's right here.
That's fire.
We'll post a picture of that with the podcast so y'all can appreciate it. And then, DJ Slipwax over here doing his turntables, doing his shit. They have been at it for years now, like since I met you guys, and then we're coming full circle 360 years later. We're all still doing our artistic stuff. And, I just really wanted to highlight how awesome it is that you guys have stuck with it, that you guys have created a platform for yourselves and for other people who don't have this old school type shit in their lives. Like this is a rare form. Like having turntables on our table right now, that's rare form. Yeah. And being able to be a full-time artist and create and make art, like not everybody gets the opportunity to even create that for themselves. So shout out Clue.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not easy. It's like, everyone tries to make things look good online. Of course, we don't want to show our bad sides, but it's
blood, sweat, and tears.
It's stressful. Yeah, it's stressful, 100%. But I appreciate that.
Of course. And do you guys each want to just give a slight little description about like who you are, where you come from, what you're actually into?
Yeah, let's let Slip go.
Slip on the spot.
Whoops.
Slipwax. I mean, I come from this area right here, Boston and Beverly.
Shout out.
And I just like to make music. I make all kinds of music all day long, if I can, unless I got to go to work. But I started off doing scratches and stuff. I didn't know anything about it. I just kind of was doing it as a joke. And I ended up just really liking it. I ended up finding out about it. I met DJ Elliot Ness right off the bat, and he brought me to his house, and I had learned some stuff on my own, and he was like, yo, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Here, try this on my mixer. And I tried out, I had a kind of a shitty mixer at the time, but he put me on a professional grade mixer and real turntables, and I just never look back,
Yeah.
So I just keep it going. Still do all the battles and stuff online, and we did DMC battles in 2006, and I did everything else, anything I see that comes up that has to do with battle DJing or scratching or something like that. And it's not because of a love for like money or like anything like that. I just do it because it's fun. You know what I mean? It's
That's
a
the
stress
only
relief.
reason anyone should do anything to me.
I wouldn't keep doing it if it wasn't fun.
Facts.
It's like a whole different thing. Like it's tough to see other people that don't scratch, and I'm like, what do you do with your free time to unwind at the end of the day? Like some people have art, some people have
lamps.
Yeah, exactly, video games or whatever. This is kind of like that, but it's its own lane, it's its own thing. It's an instrument that you can learn that hasn't been fully developed or fully experienced or learned. You know, you have a guitar that's been around for 500 years, plenty of time for people to figure out riffs and licks and things that happen on the guitar, you know.
Right.
But a turntable's only been around, scratching has only been around like 20 years or 30 years, you know.
Right. I'd say like Herbie Hancock's Rocket.
Yeah, that's like one of people's first introductions,
Put
you know.
that one on, you know.
Grand Wizard Theodore and the whole story of his mother seeing him in the bed and he's stopping the record and he gets the scratch and he's like, oh, that sounds good, you know.
Oh, right.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Actually, before we jump to Clue, for anyone listening in who maybe is younger, maybe just isn't with the vibe, just isn't into like hip hop or doesn't know maybe what a turntable is, like what's scratching, what's a turntable?
Well, a turntable, you know, it's an old way of playing records, you know. That's the only way to play records.
Records, my friends.
You know, like
do you know what
things you
that
find
is?
in the basement,
Wild.
impressed vinyl.
Old
You know what a
soul.
record is. Most people do. I mean, if you don't know what a record is, go to Google and look up record.
You know that thing on your phone?
Right.
Yeah.
Record.
So, you know, and scratching is basically taking a sound off of the record and manipulating it, scratching back and forth, you know, and rubbing the record to come up with a rhythm. And then you take the fader, which is the pretty much the lifeblood of all scratching, and that cuts the sound off. That's all it's doing. It's shutting the sound on and shutting it off. So if you can, there are so many different variations though that you can come up with by just. I'll show you later.
Yeah, you guys are gonna
Don't
get
you
a
ruin
little
the record
sample.
when you scratch it back and forth?
Actually, not too much.
What are
You'd
you
be surprised.
scratching it with a
you
knife?
do ruin the record over time, but you know now they have time-coded records that's all computerized, so you're not wear anything down. You know.
Right.
Oh, that's fancy.
You already knew this, Jeff.
That was-
Come on.
that was-
I gave
that
you
was
the
my-
gave you the real name.
Did you just drop the government?
Whoops, my bad.
Oh,
Whoa,
my goodness.
whoa,
Jeez.
whoa.
Oh, gee, I almost did too. I slipped a little bit there, but
That's
okay.
all right.
I was just being sarcastic.
ball.
We got Tom and Jerry on the show tonight.
Little dry humor for you. But yeah, I mean, Slipwax did a great job of describing it. The turntables that we have, also the main difference between these ones and kind of an average store-bought one that you would just buy to play records on, the ones that are just traditionally for playing music are belt-driven, whereas these ones have a motorized spindle and actually some really, really large magnets inside.
Oh, wow.
And so the polar opposites of the magnets actually kind of allow the platter to like float in a frictionless manner, similar to like a maglev train, if you know how that works.
So is that what's on top right there? That's a magnet?
No, so it's underneath the
Oh,
platter,
okay.
actually.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a whole different thing. This we'll get into in a minute.
We got a lot of things to get into, guys. I hope you strap in, strap down.
Yeah, shout out Phase DJ. We got a little Phase DJ thing on top, which we can get into. But the main reason that differentiates regular turntable from these ones, which are called Technic 1200s, these are actually made in the 80s.
I knew it. I was going to ask you guys. Those look like they're from the 80s.
Late 70s, early
Yes.
80s.
Change the design. These are actually newer ones than that, but they never. This one
Right.
is from. It's old.
Yeah,
Like, that's
you
some
can tell by the
solid
model
equipment.
number.
That's
Yeah.
some, like, I could
They're
bash
like
someone's
50
head.
pounds a piece.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if I
stand
could
on
even
that,
pick that
spin
up
around.
and-
Depending on your weight, you could spin around on that thing and get off of it and play a record and it'd be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they literally will hold your body weight. There's like old competitions where guys would like stand on them and do like
Do a handstand.
breakdance moves.
Yeah,
and the
DJ
thing will
David.
spin the
Are you
person
guys going to do
around.
that for us tonight?
I don't
might.
think we have the space. I don't know. It's been a long
If there was the
winter.
space, we would do it.
Next time on
But,
Old Soul Young World.
right. I guess long story short, they're a stronger turntable with more, they're called direct drive versus belt driven. So as soon as you pick your hand up on that record, theoretically, it should be up to speed, which is 33 and a third revolutions per minute.
Yeah, I guess so.
Something like that. And actually, before we give them a little taste, I know, Clue, you got a little carried away with describing what the turntables are, but
yikes.
can you describe who you are to the people?
Yes. Yeah. So people call me Clue, and I'm actually from Cape Ann, Massachusetts, from Gloucester area. But when I was younger, I would just constantly come to Salem, Boston area to ride my BMX bike, meet up with kids at skate parks, things like that. I've been an artist since I can remember, drawing little green circles with a red stripe through it, and that was Ninja Turtles,
Yes.
Raphael, stuff like that. And I've just always been into artwork nonstop, just like figured out. To be honest, I figured out at a young age that I could get attention from it, to be dead honest, because like I wasn't into like baseball. I'm really athletic, but I just didn't care about soccer or baseball
Yeah.
or any type of organized anything whatsoever. It just bothered me. So I just was always kind of in the corner doing my thing, drawing pictures. And if you can get 2 kids over, you know, and you're 10 years old and you're drawing Bart Simpson, then 5 kids might come over, and before you know it, you got your little kind of show going on. So a lot of that is what this is about too. It's like, you know, we do it in our bedrooms all the time, cutting records all the time in your bedroom or in your living room or your studio, wherever you're at. But it's nice to be seen, you know, and it's nice to be heard. So, you know, I just figured that out at a young age for art, for drawing. And then I always knew, like, I was, like, musically inclined in some fashion, but my family's not, like, going to, like, buy me a guitar, you know. They'll be like, buy it yourself and figure it out, because I don't want to waste the money on it and have it sit there and collect dust. So I didn't figure out till, like, probably later on in life, like 21 years old, that I wanted to scratch records so bad, and met this guy a couple years later. And I took a break from drawing pictures for a while because I just wanted to focus on this so much. It seemed so promising. And then also the attention thing. I'm like, wow, I could be on stage, and I know I'm not a rapper. So let's figure this out. You know what I mean? And stand out and be 1 out of 100, because there might be 100 rappers in a room, and they're probably all super talented. But being a DJ, again, you might be 1 out of 1,000.
Like we said, it's a rare form.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? It's crazy even having 2 people in the studio who are able to use equipment like this and, you know, make it sound good.
And it takes, I'm telling you, it takes a while. I mean, this guy, I was really lucky enough, and like I would harass Slipwax at a young age, call him all the time. Yeah. We didn't have like really social media. It wasn't such a heavy presence, so I don't know how I got a hold of your number, but I would just call this dude all the time and be like,
landline,
yo, what up,
beeper?
Like, I'm cooking dinner right now. I'm like, so after we're scratching? Like, you know, and
like, please scratch with me tonight. Slip, please.
And he had all the equipment.
It's like tapping on his window.
Pretty much.
Are you awake?
Yeah, he laughed. Yeah, pretty much. But I think persistence pays off when you know that you're passionate about something. Yeah. You know, and sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I just wanted to cut records so bad. You know?
It's fun, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like stress relieving. And there's nothing else like it. You can get a little setup that, you know, it doesn't have to be Techniques 1200s. You can get those, you know, smaller versions, or the C DJs, and kind of do the same idea. Yeah. The Techniques, to me, though, it just feels like it's what I want to feel when I cut. You know, it's like a certain guitarist likes a certain guitar. You know, certain guitarists play a Strat, certain guitarists play a Gibson. You know, Les Paul. And it's kind of what you feel. These just are the real deal. You know, if you look at those other setups that have the whole thing together, they're just trying to mimic what this is. So, I mean, why would you get a version of something that this is already perfect for?
The issue is these are such a pain to lug around, and they're also hard to find. Yeah. They're really hard to find and expensive. So kids, you know, a lot of kids and people our age, kids and adults will just be like, I'm just going to buy the whole package, you know?
Right.
It's just easier.
And shout out you guys, because you bring this stuff to events. I mean,
every show.
Yeah.
Sometimes 4 turntables.
Like, this is heavy equipment. Anyone who's not watching the videos, listening to the pod, like, can you guys describe kind of what these are?
There was a time when we had to bring crates of records as well, which is just like the worst. So that's why you have like roadies come with you, and DJs that are just learning out, they'll carry the crates. Yeah. You know, carry that shit.
Carry that shit out there.
Luckily, we didn't have to do crates because we had Serato by the time.
When I first started, I did have to do records, but I got Serato. I actually won Serato. I had an idea. I didn't win it particularly, but I won the money for it because I did a battle. It was a weird battle on the radio. They said you could win $1,500 to show off a stupid talent. And I battled like sword swallowers, and a guy stuck a shish kebab screw through his face. It was insane.
What?
But I beat him all with scratches.
Like WBCN?
Wow, shout out to you.
And then I actually bought Serato before the whole battle, and I made the routine on Serato, because that's what Serato allows you to do. It allows you to take your MP3s or your songs or anything you even make and put it on those records. Whereas before you had to find
a software program?
Software.
The record you wanted, you know. And that was a pain because, you know, there's only a limited selection of records out there. And if you want to do like a beat where you're bringing it back and forth, you have to find 2 of that record.
Yeah.
And if you scratch one of them,
the other one's
right before the battle, then
or one gets warped,
you know?
Or something. It gets
one gets left in the sun.
Battle game changer, Serato.
So Serato is a huge game changer as far as making everything that was hard about DJing before, such as carrying crates rates, skipping of needles, warped records wearing out. It solved all that problem.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. And a lot of people would be like, at the time, probably when it came out, they're like, oh, it's cheating, whatever. But Serato is a combination of hardware, software program that now is the industry standard for what Slipwax is speaking of. Even the DMCs stands for Disco Mix Club, and it's like an international DJ battle that goes to the worlds, and it's recognized. Once you win that, you win, or they used to give away a gold set of Technic 1200s.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, bright
That's
gold.
dope.
Yeah, and guys would win, multiple
What a good
times.
prize.
Yeah, it was crazy.
There's a DJ battle out right now. I forget the name of it offhand, but the prize is $1 million.
What?
Nice, yeah.
It's not all at once though. You have to work for them for the money. Like I think you have to play their gigs. I can't remember the name of it offhand.
Is it
I'll
like
look it up.
through
I've been tagging it
radio
a
or
few
like an
times.
event company type thing?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it gets wild. So like
Yeah.
they'll do like for the DMCs, they'll do like states, regional, and then like country, and then it goes to worlds. And when you win, it was like you'd become I think maybe back then you become a little more famous, maybe than now, because it just seems like there's a lot more scratch DJs now, But I'd say like in the mid '90s. People were just getting exponentially famous because they're, again, less social media then.
Yeah.
So that's how you'd be recognized literally worldwide on the
facts.
stage for like doing things like body tricks, keeping your arms behind your back, spinning around, all the things that Slip can do and I can do a fair amount of as well. But it takes an unbelievable amount of time and effort to learn these.
Well, I was going to ask you guys, like other instruments like guitars or pianos, like are there like, how there's chords or keys or whatever, like are there certain things like that with you know what I mean? Or is it all just like technique, like you practice and you develop your own
I'll let you go
specific?
ahead on that one.
It's a different type of musical instrument. So I play keys and guitar and little drums and stuff. And
How many songs you learned? 50? You learned 50 songs of your new piano? Is that what you said?
yeah, last week.
Last week
No,
he
but
said. Excuse me.
I make beats all day long. That's what I literally make beats, all day. So I have thousands of beats over the years.
They're not even labeled, they're numbered.
Yeah.
Numbered.
So,
He's on
but as far
2035.
so that, you learn music
ridiculous.
theory. You have to, at first you don't know any of that stuff. And I started sampling. I didn't know anything about music, but you gradually learn over time by watching videos and tutorials and stuff, and figure out the theory, figure out the scales, figure out like where, the bass lines and stuff, and how to, put different chords over different scales and stuff. So with a turntable, though, it's what you get is what you have to work with. I can't change the key of this. Well, with Serato and stuff, you can actually change the key of the song, but traditional DJing, like battle DJing, you basically have to find the sounds you want and hope they work, or try to make them work, or have an idea like, oh, this would work if I slow the record down, but now the song is going so slow, so I have to manually slow this one down with my hand to make them work. It's a lot of that kind of stuff.
I feel like it's a right brain, left brain activity so much,
about
you
it is,
know?
It's a record player. You're supposed to put the needle on it and leave it alone.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah.
And not touch it.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. It's
Right.
not a musical instrument.
Right.
It's.
Well, I have a record player in my room, and it's like that. Like I'm
Yeah,
like,
you
listen
can't
to the song right.
Try to scratch it at home. It'll go all over the place.
Right,
So
yes.
to turn that into a real sounding instrument that doesn't sound like crap, it's tough. There's a fine line between making it sound like absolute shit and making it sound great.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're off by even the slightest bit when you're trying to juggle a record, you even if you don't make music, it's off. You know, and even if you don't paint and you see a painting,
You're like, oh,
and
that looks
all the
weird.
colors or all the shadows are facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
Don't like that one
You're like,
part.
I don't know what it is, but it
I don't
doesn't
like
look
it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like
It's
the DJ.
not my vibe.
to juggle a beat and make it sound perfect is incredibly hard. It's incredible. It takes a lot of time and a lot of focus. And same with scratching. Scratching is kind of like the juggling aspect is more of a quantized situation where you have to keep things exactly perfect. Scratching is more like a solo instrument, like a guitar solo, where you can kind of be all over the place and still make it work, even if you have errors and stuff like that. And also you can use it like a jazz instrument, just like a trumpet, and you just pepper in the sounds where you want. Maybe it doesn't have to be a million miles an hour, but if you just have that like a Premiere type DJ or something, it just
like
sounds great. And
old
Premiere
flavor cut.
is great. I mean, he's a genius. Like his scratches aren't the most technical. They are technical. They're not the most. They're not like Hubert style, but the like A-Track was saying, you sing along with Premier's cuts. You know what I mean? Like that they're that catchy that you're like, a mass appeal. You're like you are literally singing along with the cuts.
And that was if I may interject, that was a really hard battle for me with myself, because I would be like, oh, I learned how to scratch, and then I'd go to Slipwax's house or something, and he'd be like, well, I mean, that was decent, but like it's not falling in the right place. Like,
and you're like, what? I'm scratching.
And he's like, no, that's like freaking all over the place, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's not. And it really took me a long time, and like I'm not even gonna say I'm perfect by any means at it now, but I'm certainly a lot better, and it only comes with listening, in my opinion, and just listening, and then knowing like that. Don't get in your head and be like, oh, I'm the shit because I just learned like 3 scratches on the internet. It's going to take you a whole lot longer than that. And then the other thing is get some honest friends. That aren't just like, oh,
get yourself some real friends.
Some real friends that aren't going to give you some bullshit line.
They aren't just like, yo, that's really dope, because they don't want to tell you that it's not. You know what I mean?
No, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Slipwax will always tell you, but
he's a real one.
You look like shit. Go change. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck you wearing today?
What kind of
It's funny that you mentioned the get some friends that are honest. I always like
shout out Baldwin Biz.
Hey,
what up?
What up?
Hey, we're all artists here, right? So it's funny you say that. I tend to go back to the people that have told me they don't like something.
Yeah.
I tend to go ask
you
them.
want to see if you can get them this time.
The only way to learn.
That's the best way. Like,
Right.
I gravitate to the people that have told me, oh, I wasn't feeling that. And I'm like, all right, word.
Yeah.
He had the balls to tell me he don't like it,
Back
even
to
though
the
we're
drawing board,
even though we're close, we're cool. He told me it's trash. All right, word.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go right back to you.
That's why you
That's
see,
cool that
and not to speak on like, don't get me wrong, I love rap music. But sometimes you go to a hip hop show and you see, this little group of friends, and they're all together, and they got maybe their top, one of the crew, and the person goes on the stage and they do their little show, and the whole group of friends is like, yes, you're the best.
Yeah.
But maybe the rest of the people there aren't really necessarily as enthusiastic, because you brought your little cheering team. That's fun.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to understand that like you might not be the best there because 20 people think, because you hang out with them all the time.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
So when I met up with these guys, they were really good. Oh, sorry. They were really good about just being like, well, buddy, go home and practice more. And I was like, gosh, I should.
And honestly, that group of people is probably going home and being like, damn, they suck tonight. You feel me? Like, it's like those people don't even tell you the truth. They just talk about you.
It's a sad thing
on the
sometimes.
sidelines. So,
Rap's a different game than the scratch world. There's a lot of rappers.
Rap and scratch are quite different.
Yeah, they are. I mean,
much.
it's similar and it's different. There wasn't rappers without the DJ, but now DJs aren't really into the rap scene as much as like they ever were. There's no scratches on mainstream songs and stuff. We're not talking about mainstream music, but everything comes full circle. You never know with what could happen in the future. I'm not saying it never would happen, but as far as scratching goes, it's its own little world. It's its own little niche group of like other scratch DJs that know the deal and they know what you're doing. Like, so that's what I focus on. Like, I focus on a lot of the other DJs that are in this area. Table Manners DJs, that's the coalition I'm with. It's like DJ Menace, DJ Lazy Boy, Elliot Ness.
Ooh.
A lot of heavy hitting DJs from this area.
Like 16 people in Table Manners, I think.
Right. And me and Elliot Ness have
And
been
is there
working together for
a plug in
20
Instagram
plus.
or anything if anyone's interested in checking you guys out?
Table Manners is on Instagram, and Table Manners West, that's the West Coast California-based thing. But we've cut with the best DJs in the world. We have the guy who invented the scratch. He was, rocking on T-shirts, and Qbert. And,
Yo, that's crazy. You just brought up my next question, so I might cut you off.
Oh, that's all right.
After you're done.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
Okay. Yeah, but I forgot what I was into, but what were you going to say?
Sorry, my bad.
That's
but
okay.
So since you said like, the first scratcher or whatever, when you guys were talking, I just was wondering from your perspectives, maybe it's an opinion-based thing or maybe it's a factual-based thing. I don't really know. So you could just let me know and the audience listening in. Where does scratch originate from? If you were to say, maybe you both have a separate answer to this. So
Where did actual scratching come from?
Yeah.
however you take that question,
Or like the
where does
first
scratch
one.
originate from?
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, technically,
Slip was saying Theodore.
Grand Wizard Theodore. It was in New York. I don't forget what borough, but he was the one who invented it by he held the record. His mother came in to tell him to turn it down or something to that effect.
Oh, you said this earlier.
Yeah,
a
and he was
little bit.
holding it, just waiting, and he was wiggling the record in his headphone. He could hear himself, or to that effect. I think. I'm not really 100% on this, so don't
It's a
judge
pass
me.
down of history of hip hop
So
story.
that kind of started it, and then it.
They say it. They say
Grandmaster
it.
Flash and all those guys made it famous in DXT, and then they're
So DXT, sorry, real quick. DXT was in if you want to see a great, perfect rendition of his skills, look up Herbie Hancock's Rocket.
Oh yeah,
you know the
He's got
song.
the
Rocket.
antenna on his.
Yeah, it's like down, 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 down. Everyone knows that
Hey,
song. Everyone
of
knows
course.
that. But he has a solo, a scratch solo on that with the noise that we would consider says fresh.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, really, really, really put it on the map as far as like people were like, oh, dang, that whole section of that song was crazy. And he's got like this white leather suit on with spikes and like these
Radical.
sick robot
Completely radical.
robot headphones, and he's got like
Bring that back.
sick glasses. Yeah, people are trying to look. They're gonna have a hard time because he was crushing it. Anyway,
then it was
What a
very
look.
basic for a long time. Then DJ Flair came up with the Flair, and then Qbert took the Flair to the next level and just completely turned scratching on its head. In my opinion, I mean, I watched Qbert a lot. I used to slow down videos just to see what his hand was doing because I didn't understand how he was getting all those sounds out of just moving his hand slightly.
Yeah.
so
And
fast,
it's all has to do with how you cut sounds away from the sound you're making. If I'm making a sound with a record, I try to cut sounds out as opposed to try to cut the sound in and be literal. You could think about it as turning a light switch on. You could either turn it on dot and make a little and turn it on, or you could leave the light on and cut pieces of the light off. So it's
Right,
you know what I mean. So then it's always it's more light. You know what I mean.
What a great description.
Yeah, it's opposite of what you think.
That was huge too. When I was a big thing that Slipwax taught me early on, because when you have the actual crossfader in your hands, your natural thing, because of the way your wrist articulates, would be to click in, with your middle finger or index finger, but to throw your thumb out is not the way our arms kind of want to go. So you kind of got to force that in, but then once you have it, it's like, what do you always say? Throwing the stick away from you or whatever, like throwing the stone.
It's hard to explain when somebody doesn't really know
Right.
Getting used to the hand motions. It sounds like
you're
it's
playing
like
the drums
anything
or
like
playing the piano
or the
playing
piano.
anything.
Like,
Yeah, right.
It's the weirdest
Yeah.
thing.
It's a
'cause
very rhythmical instrument as opposed to a note-based instrument.
yeah.
it would be like in your head, someone asks you to move a certain way, and you're like, well, why can't I do that? And it's like, well, you didn't take dance classes for 15 years.
Right.
It's especially like if you look at
That's
someone
why I
dancing,
can't.
you could say, I could do that.
No,
Exactly.
no,
No, you
and
can't do
it
that.
don't look the same.
Muscle memory and having a really like a like for it and loving it, and that's the only way you're gonna get good. So go out and buy some turntables.
Yeah, go.
Spend
Go
$2,000 on a
practice your
mixer.
shit.
I recommend 15 years. Just throw everything
Throw
else
15
away.
years at it.
Well, I was
See where you're
actually
at.
gonna also say, how long has it been? About 15 years, or
Honey.
I'm gonna age you guys. How long you been at it?
Yikes.
I'm just gonna say over 20 years.
Okay.
'Cause,
Yeah. So, for me, I've been scratching for like legitimately, I think like I'd say 13 years above.
Okay.
Like, and it's almost like.
and this isn't days off. This isn't like I started scratching and then put it down and then 10 years
it's
passed.
every
Yeah,
single
it's every day because there's nothing else to do in the
6,
world.
7,
What else is there?
Can you say that again, guys? When is it?
Yeah.
Every single day? All the time?
Yeah, I mean,
24/7? Always practicing?
I mean, at first, yeah.
We lit.
No, it's wild. It's wild. And that was, and going back to the fact that I would just harass Slipwax all the time, constantly, to the point where I was like, wow, this dude's probably going to hate me, but it really paid off, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, I hate you.
I know.
I hate you.
here, I
Here
know.
we are. Fuck
I know.
you.
He's like, I didn't
Fuck you and I love you. All
Yeah.
right.
no, we had fun together, because we'd be scratching in the studio and being loud, like being really loud. Like the neighbors downstairs are definitely like, wow, like this is kind of ridiculous. But
They have now little portable turntables, like little ones you can buy. They're like little fader on it, and you can it's all portable. You can take that to the beach and just sit there and just
Scratch your
scratch it
little
up.
table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have one. It's so fun. Yeah, it's a battery
powered.
Battery powered. Everything's all battery powered. They even have ones that are like you can get a little mixer that's battery powered, and they last a long time. And
Yeah.
they actually have battles. I did the I forget which one, DMC online
The
portable battle.
Yeah.
I did pretty well. I got to like some of the final runs. I think I topped.
Yeah,
8,
and listen, it's I gotta
there are
say
some really
too, like,
nasty scratch DJs in the world. Don't get it twisted.
It is picked up. It is picked up a lot because it is. Let me go on real quick on a certain one. Back like literally, I guess we are dating ourselves here a little bit. I didn't have the capabilities on the internet to look up scratching. So so how do you do it? You know, and at the time I thought I was going to be a break dancer. I thought that was a grand idea. But I was actually taking
I could see it.
DJ makes more money because
I can move around. I can move pretty quick. So at the time I was actually taking kung fu courses in Danvers, Massachusetts.
Kung fu as well?
Look at you.
Jeez, the Renaissance
Clue
man.
does it all, though. You feel me?
This is how I found out, right? That is fire.
That is fire.
I didn't know. I had to go on this story because I didn't know when to put it in, but it was in my mind.
It needs to come.
I didn't know Slipwax, and I didn't know anybody who could scratch records, but I knew like what those noises were, and mostly off, like, to be honest, from Incubus CDs because they get a dope scratch DJ.
Yeah, remember that?
It's sick.
Wow, you're so right.
So I was doing kung fu courses, and then I had bought some Jedi Mind Tricks CDs, and I was like 13 years old. And I was like, all right, Jedi Mind Tricks is badass. Like, what's next? So then I looked at the back of a Jedi Mind Tricks album, and I saw, 7L and esoteric. What does this mean? I don't even know what these combinations of letters and numbers are. But it was a DJ and a rapper. And so then I went out to Newbury Comics in Danvers when they were there, Danvers PBD line, bought a 7L and esoteric CD. And then I'm going to my Kung Fu courses. This sounds like far-fetched, but I swear to God, this is true. I'm going to the Kung Fu courses.
Got the Karate Kid over here.
And I got the 7L and esoteric album, and I'm listening to it. And again, keep in mind, I'm like 13, 14 years old. I'm not driving, right? So my mom's driving me into the Kung Fu courses. And they're long. So she'd drive me in, bounce out, whatever. And then every time we'd go to New Brothers Deli in Danvers on Locust
Shout
Street.
out!
After.
Oh, Brothers Deli's bomb.
And so I'm looking at the 7L and esoteric album, right? This sounds like the most longest winded story, but listen to this. I'm looking at the 7L and esoteric album, and then I go in, I said, gosh, man, that guy looks so familiar. You got to be joking. Go back in the car, look at the CD. I said, Ma, does this guy look like this roast beef guy inside?
You're kidding me.
She's like, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that guy inside that place is this guy on this album. And I'm like, next time I go in, I'm going to ask him whatever. I didn't because I didn't have the gumption. So it took me probably another year of going in and out of there, studying 7L and esoteric.
Who goes and just stalks this guy?
And
He's like, are you him?
I know, what a creep, right? What a psycho.
Now he knows.
Crazy person. Yeah, hello. Knocking on the window.
Hello.
I'd like some roast beef. I got a karate outfit on. No,
so it wasn't him.
No, so I asked. Thank you for cutting that so short, Slip. So I asked him. I said, "Are you 7L, right?" And he's like, "Dang, what, dude? Like, how do you know?" And no. Yeah, Finkel was Einhorn. I put the strings and the tags together, and then I was like, "All right, Kung Fu's out the window. Want to be a DJ?"
Yeah, if this guy can do it, and I know him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, how? So that 7L stands for the seventh letter. The seventh letter of the alphabet is G. The guy's name is George, and he's a sweetheart. And he owns a record store on Cabot now called Soundtracks. And so that's how I put it all together. And then I didn't meet Slip till years later. I didn't know what equipment to buy or even what to do. Anyway, long story short, that's how I was like, boom, light bulb moment. Got to do it.
That's freaking crazy.
And I had already been DJing for 12 years.
Yeah, and I was just a baby.
And then this baby crawls over, like, please, Slipwax.
I was actually in a karate outfit, and he was dressed up like Splinter.
Wait, what?
Yeah, when we first met. Yeah.
Is this such a real story?
No, but that would be pretty. Yeah, right.
That would be such a great story. Rat.
Yeah, but anyway, so shout out 7L. I went to his record store and told him that story, and he was like, "Good one." And I was like, "Yeah."
Well, to put it into perspective, I think
the fact he has a record store.
Yeah, so his family owns New Brothers Deli, and it was in fact him, obviously.
Wow.
So yeah. But he was his whole family owns it, so they all work there. They're brothers and cousins and
they're brothers, literally.
They're new brothers. Yeah.
That's amazing, and their food is bomb.
I know,
it's the best.
So if you haven't gone, check it out.
So I got to go to his record store the other day and tell him that story, and he was like, sick. And I was like, thanks, guy. That was a long one.
Have you guys ever scratched together? Like,
Not with 7L. That would
No.
be tight, though. Yeah, yeah.
you should do something.
No doubt.
Bring him back.
No, no doubt.
Played lots of shows over the years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, it was a sick one we did was my personal favorite. Felt so lucky to do was that Kid Koala show at the Institute of Contemporary Art.
He's another turntablist.
The ICA?
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah.
Damn.
And Kid Koala, shout out Kid Koala. He's from Toronto, I believe, but he's an illustrator.
From Montreal, I believe.
Montreal, and he's an illustrator as well. He draws comic books and stuff, and a lot of that crosses over into his music. And gosh, that was a crazy.
Let me give you
show.
the quick rundown of that show. It's friggin' insane.
It was nuts.
He
Yeah.
literally had keyboards behind him, turntables in front of him, a whole orchestra.
What?
And also, at the same time as he DJ'd, he was making the movie for or making the music for a movie cut animation
While
that they were
live
doing that
filming it.
live in
Live?
front of us. So we could see what was happening on the screen, and then if we looked on the stage, there was like guys dressed in black with like throwing stuff and confetti and like strings and pulleys
And
and
he's
like
cutting
puppeteering.
records.
Oh
And he's
my
like
God.
making the music and making the sounds of the guy's voice with the turntables. It was absolutely
I cried.
like
Did you cry?
Yeah,
mind-blowing.
100%.
A tear gently
I've been
fell.
listening
because you know why he cried is how much work went into doing that.
I know.
You know how
That's like
long that was
literally
taken?
like so many different art forms put into
Yeah,
one
it
for a
was
show.
amazing. It was-
And when you do a live show, it's like
No,
I
it's
used to do
nuts.
live painting. Well, I did live painting a couple weeks ago actually, but like it's like if you fuck up, you fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
No,
mean,
the energy's real because you're not at your house anymore, just in your element.
you're not in
Yeah.
your element. You're in front of strangers doing what
Right.
you do.
And actually, that one, the Kid Koala one, I went from within 24 hours not knowing if I was going to even get into the show because it was sold out to finding out we were going to do this little after party on stage there.
What?
And we-
You guys
and,
did an after party there?
Yeah, and then what we did, we recorded or rehearsed rather a routine at Slipwax's house the night before, and then practiced it at Opus, and
Hey.
then did it at the ICA. Yeah.
That's dope.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He practiced it at one gig and performed it at
Do it at
another.
the smaller one in
Classic.
case you screw up. Yeah.
That is such a flex.
That's a flex. Subtle flex.
That's fire.
Are you guys still doing events and stuff together? Or is that like a random
Well, I just
whenever it
moved-
comes?
I just moved back about 6 months ago, and it was kind of quiet when I moved.
Where was
back.
you at? Clue? Let us know.
where you be at?
You're all
Sorry, am I
mysterious.
really long-winded right now. I lived in Maine for 5 years, and it was a blast.
out in the wilderness.
At first, I was out there. Yeah, I was out there. I was scared to death. It was so quiet, I couldn't sleep. I was like, "Where is all the noise?" You might hear one 18-wheeler whiz by at 3 a.m., and you're just like, "Oh my goodness,
What's going on?
oh yeah, it was kind of like
Yeah, it's a little too far.
I was like, oh my god. With that being said, I got a good job opportunity up there, and
How many scratch DJs were living out there?
there was none. I don't think. I don't
One
know.
including yourself?
Yeah. Actually, speaking on that, I got to do a couple good shows in Maine. Shout out my guy Steven Jordan. Call him Dad sometimes.
Hey.
He goes by Days In. He's fantastic, and he really, really opened my eyes to a new world of electronic music and how stupid fun those shows are. Even if I was at a tiny bar, they'd put 120 hippies in there and just go absolutely ape, and it was crazier than anything.
Everyone's just on
I was
freaking ecstasy.
what?
They're
I was
like,
I was
yes.
30 minutes
Play
ago, this place
anything.
was like a dive bar. Now it's just completely friggin' nuts. But
Festivals are fun to, I
it
played
was
a bunch
what it
of those.
was it was festy kids
Yeah, festy
that
kids.
aren't at a festy that go to bars, and everyone knows that's the night for all the little hippies and Wookiees to show up
wannabe
and go
festies.
nuts. Yeah, and you know what? I got to use my turntable skills and turn that over into a electronic, almost EDM type
Hey.
situation, and start crushing it. And people were going crazy
That's
because
dope.
some people just show up and push a button and
Yeah.
walk away. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Whereas
right.
they like to see the physical skills.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspects to the word DJ. You
I
know,
was going to say there's two types of DJs.
there's a lot of types
A
of
real
DJs.
DJ.
There's a lot of types.
And a
There's,
fake DJ.
There's there are DJs that just produce songs and they call themselves DJs. They're producer DJs, and when they play a show, they literally just play their
Play their
songs
song.
and other people's songs mixed together in a big mix. Maybe it's pre-mixed. And then there are other DJs that just play the club and they play all the, they might do some minimal scratching here and there, and
Right.
just to keep the party going.
That's like relevant songs.
Right, relevant songs and keeping up with the times. And, you know, when you play the club, you have to know what the girls want to dance to, because it's bottom line, that's what it is in the club. I hate to tell you,
the
fellas.
hit songs out there.
Yeah, the hit songs. You want to play, make the ladies dance, because that's what keeps the ladies in there, and that's what keeps the guys in there. The guys aren't there to see the DJ.
You heard?
Unless you're there for a DJ show.
You just dropped a gem.
Right, but then if turntablism, what we do, takes that, I also, you know, do clubs and stuff too, but turntablism aspect takes this and turns it into an instrument. Now, and it works in hip hop, and especially old school hip hop. Not really in the trap stuff, but a little bit here and there. I scratch a little on the trap shows and stuff. I play all the everything. So I always bring a little element of the cuts in still, and it's just because I like it, you know.
But people get. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm just trying to go quick. The turntables makes it an instrument, and if you can manipulate the turntables, you can scratch and you can juggle. All the other aspects of DJing, I don't care. All the other aspects of DJing are easy compared.
They fall into place with.
So if you can do that, you can easily mix two records together. You can easily, you know, find out what the new stuff is and play it. You know, there are DJs that are great that just mix songs together, and they're awesome because their selection is just awesome. You know what I mean? But turntablism is a different thing. It's like trying to turn this into an instrument. You're either trying to do something that looks cool, you know, so the crowd is like, wow, look at that DJ. He's getting down, he's spinning around and doing some crazy stuff. Or, you know, you're scratching really fast, or you know, making it a new song with taking an existing song and slowing it down and manipulating it with your own hands to make it perfect on time. And it's like unbelievable. You don't even know. It's like sorcery, you know.
It's magic. It really is. Like, go ahead.
There is no.
Clue.
Oh, go ahead. Go Clue.
No, I was going to speak on how actually like one of my biggest weaknesses at first, and even
we love
even
admitting our faults here in Old Slow Young World.
No doubt. You gotta, you know. I mean, we're pretty nice
The
with
down
it.
to get to the high, though.
You gotta stay humble, you know. But
facts. Stay humble.
I'm just kidding. Everywhere we show up, we shred. But no, the one.
He's
one
like,
of the
we
things,
the fucking shit though. Stay humble, but we the shit.
One of the things though was like, because I got pretty good at scratching, and then I didn't know how to do the juggles as well, and I didn't know how to blend as well, and I didn't know.
What do you mean by juggles?
Sorry. The juggles is like when you use both hands. Yeah, and we could show. And it's like basically you have the same beat or the same something on each side.
It doesn't have to be the same either, though.
You kind of like mash it up, and you could make something new out of it. Go ahead.
So the juggle, it's like you're making an existing beat instead of like just playing like an instrumental and scratching on the top of it, just like a rapper would rap on the beat. Like you play the beat for the rapper and you'd be like blah 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 and say his raps. You know, just scratch the same thing as that.
That's how
you know,
raps.
Juggling is more like you're making the beat now. You're producing a beat right there on the fly using
freestyle beat making.
Snare from this side maybe, and a kick drum from this side, and then alternating maybe a snare, kick, and then a kick, and then a snare. You know, back and forth, but keeping it in a way that it's musical and rhythmical,
syncopated.
It's very tough. And it sounds like
you gotta move quick.
You kind of have to see it to see what it is. The masters of that would be like Rock Raider, especially. He's one of the best ever to do it.
Craze.
Any of those executioners, Rob Swift, who I'm currently doing some stuff with him too, where I'm teaching a scratch. I got to get on that.
Executioners. Those two guys are from Executioners.
Yeah, they're the juggle crew to look for if you want to go watch some videos and see some stuff like. Also, DJ Craze is also another awesome juggler. He's also a great scratcher too. Total Eclipse.
Yeah, that dude Bumbeardo.
He's great too.
Bumbeardo's
there are a lot of
name drops.
So this kind of there, and then that kind of cuts the DJs into categories. Some DJs are scratch DJs, and some DJs are juggle DJs. You know, and it's good to be both. You know, as much as you can, but it's hard to focus all your time on one of the aspects as opposed to the other. You know, you only have so much time.
Facts.
For sure. And I think that juggling too, like the thing about juggling is you talked earlier, Jesse, about left and right brain, which is
the whole show. I keep thinking about this. So please,
it's very smart because obviously we all have a dominant side, you know, which is I'm left-handed. When I draw pictures, I throw a baseball with my right hand. I kick with my right foot.
You're all messed up, huh?
I'm in trouble.
DJ with both.
I'm in big trouble. But when I was trying to learn the juggles with my right hand was very weak. Because I had practiced too much scratching, so I was like, "Oh wait, what?" And it would be literally like your brain is like, "No, your hand's not going that way."
Yeah.
Not today. You know?
Yeah. I'm a lefty. I scratch with my left hand on the record. Most people put their strong hand on the fader these days.
My strong hand.
But I don't.
Yo, I love that reference so much. This is my strong hand.
No, but yeah, it's hard. And then once you break it, though, oh, my fault, my friend.
Just because he mentioned something about having the strong hand on the fader, and I don't know much about DJing, but I would imagine that you would scratch with your strong hand.
In your weak hand, it would be on the fader. I was thinking the same thing, Biz.
So
crazy.
That's how it was when you first, like a lot of like the old scat cats, even I think Kubert cuts with his strong hand on the record too. It really doesn't matter, but the fader, you get a lot of speed and you get that real quickness out of being fast with the fader. So some DJs switched over to the other side and put their strong hand on the fader because that was cutting the sounds and getting that, you know what I mean, as opposed to just wiggling the record sound. But now there are new scratches where you actually, there's a thing called a tear, and you put little pops in the record. So it's difficult to say which is better to do. But I thought the same way as you did. I'm like, obviously my strong hand on the record, because I didn't really think the fader anything. I just put the fader in the middle, which allows it to play both sides, turned it on, and just scratched, and then shut it off, and then turned it on and scratched. And any sounds I didn't want to hear, I'd try to cut away. It's like the back scrape. So if you think about the record playing and saying, yeah, and then you pull it back, it would go, whoop, but you don't want that whoop sound, so you'd have to
cut the fader off.
Shut off the fader, bring it back.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Back, cut the sound
Just
out.
when you guys are talking, like everyone listening in, because obviously we're all different. Not everyone's musicians or can use their left and right brain. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm listening to you guys talk, it just sounds like a language. Like it literally sounds like Chinese. No, but it's not. No, like I can keep up with it because I've been into like hip hop, and obviously like I know people who are DJs and shit like that, so I can keep up with what you're saying. But I'm just picturing people who have never heard what you're talking about. It's tough to describe because it's an art form. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the most beautiful thing about it. And when you guys are talking, it just highlights how much of an art form it is, because it's so intricate.
Its own language.
It has its own language, its own verbiage, its own vocabulary, its own different ways and techniques of doing things.
Right. And that's why it takes so long.
And in true, it's very in its infancy, and there's not many people to learn from. And just until recently, there hasn't been many videos you can learn. There's no teachers of it. It's not like you can go get a lesson at the college.
You get like the VHS if you knew a guy who knew somebody.
Right.
You have to figure it out on your own, which is good. It makes you learn really good. And it also, using your other hand is super helpful in other things. Like I don't know, like I think scratching records makes you, more inquisitive about other things. And
it's the left-right brain, guys. It's putting on two sides.
No, it does,
Absolutely. Not everyone uses
even opening
that.
Opening doors with your other hand is good for your brain. This is absolutely
it breaks that
all over the place.
It breaks
that barrier.
It's just that you have so many options to
100%.
you have so many options to manipulate the sound.
Yeah.
So it's like an open canvas, just like speaking in artist form, like. It's such an open canvas, so it could probably be overwhelming. Like if you just have this open canvas, you can do whatever you want.
A
blank. Yeah,
you can throw paint wherever and be like, "Oh, does that look good?"
It's almost easier to sometimes have guguidelines that somebody gives you, so that way you can stay. Oh, I understand. You want a red painting.
There's so many fucking options. It's like,
and that's why in using this as a great analogy or metaphor, if you will, just throw some color on that canvas. You know what I mean, and don't be afraid, because once you have. You had a 6-foot canvas, right?
Yeah.
You said you were working on a 6-foot canvas.
I am.
So it's
the biggest canvas. As an artist, Clue, I know you feel that vibe.
Take the thing outside, put a little bit of paint in a water balloon, and just hum it at it.
Stop it.
And then it'll just be like, splash.
Oh, you're giving me anxiety just saying that. I'm like, no.
And then it'll be like, oh, word. And then you at least you have something to go off of, or something, So that's why when I wake up, or I know Slip does this too, or say I show up, to Slip's house or whatever, and we're going for like a 2-hour scratch session, which is like can easily fly by because we're having fun. And I'm like, all right, what are we gonna do? And we can't be like, oh, this is what we're doing right now. It's like that's not how it works. We go so much more organic. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. It's hard to come out. You can't just think of what the idea could be. It could come out of anywhere.
Just put on a beat.
Yeah, put on something and see where we go from there.
And then maybe 5 minutes into it, you're like,
finally it starts to sound good. You're like, let's go from here.
And when you start to know each other like as friends and like get to understand each other's like personality, you could even honestly tell like what kind of mood somebody's in. So you're like, oh, we don't want to go crazy right now, you know, because we're gonna have pasta with in like a half
garlic
hour.
bread.
So like right now is not the time to like go ape on it. You know, let's just do these like mellow, fun cuts, and then that's when you learn so much because you're like in a different focus rather than just going like, wow, watch me spin around. You know.
But it's super dope that you guys are able to actually like build off each other and have each other as kind of a soundboard to be like, oh, is this sound okay, or is this like
where a good way to for people to kind of understand it'd be like if rappers, you know, were in a room together
and they all liked
there was
each
a
other.
beat playing, and they went turns and took turns rapping. You know, like scratching and rapping is very similar in the fact that it uses phrases. You want to articulate the phrase just like word phrases. You know what I mean? You can be super fast with it, but
that was my weakness when I first started. Like I was saying before, I was like, oh, I can scratch now, so I'm just gonna go like crazy all over the map with it because watch my skills.
Watch my hands go.
I'm crazy.
Right, but
you
fast.
You don't know me. I'm crazy. And everyone's like, all right, dude, we get it. You know what I mean? But it took me a while.
We know.
You got to keep that entertaining for the listener. Right. So like somebody like Miles Davis playing, you could keep him. He keeps you entertained because of the way he's not playing at maybe 100 miles an hour, but he's leaving the gaps where they're supposed to be left and making the phrases and being funky with it.
Just like catching a feeling, like
instead of just being vibe, you know.
Funky is huge,
and I think that's big with like rap too now, because like rap is like obviously changed a huge direction, you know, within the past couple years, whatever. But it's like, you know, seeing like how like trapped out you could get, how this, how that, and like. It's not even rhyming. So
but some of those flows too, though, are insanely good. Like they're rhyming on a timing that's like very new school style of scratch too. You know, like that like halftime stuff where it's quarter notes. Like it's
fast and slow at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like scratch will never die. I don't know how you guys feel, but
that's the best part. We're gonna be like 60 something, and they're gonna be like, "Look at those cool."
No matter how music changes, scratch will never die. You know what I mean?
It's also something you can put your headphones on, and you can go into your own little world. Nobody has to listen to it, and you can scratch in your own world.
Yeah.
And you know, that might be a reason why it would never die. It might not be in the mainstream, but for something to do, and if you know how to do it,
and like you said, the competitions and stuff, like I didn't even know scratch competitions are still a thing. I didn't know that was going on.
They're a world thing now. It used to be like a United States thing more. Now, it was always the world, you know, with the DMC, but now it's like when you're battling, I'm thinking about battling people from Taiwan. You know, I'm thinking about battling cats from France.
What kind of music did they got that they're going to be bringing, or
there are some
sounds.
Nasty scratches like
the Japan artists are untouchable. They like train their kids how to scratch from like the time they're like 8 years
excuse
old.
me, we have baby scratchers out there I didn't know about.
And they are nice with it. Yes. Like they
Watch
are.
out for the baby scratchers.
I'm like, God, how am I going to keep up? You know, and that's I think that's a funny thing to go
like
on.
battling a 5-year-old. He's like, fuck.
I'm like, God, now I'm playing.
He's beating me.
It's like playing kids on internet video games or something.
Oh gosh, these kids know too much about technology.
I don't play video games.
I don't know how you guys feel.
I don't play video games.
I feel out technology these days.
That's the crossing.
Do you feel that way?
So not with this, but with certain things.
But in general, like or lingo, like kids say things and I'm like, what did you just say? I don't even understand what you're saying to me.
What I don't understand is going to like the Salvation Army, buying everything tan in the store and then being like, earth tones. It's like, no, you just bought a bunch of tan old clothes. I don't. But that's where I get confused. Yeah. And they're like, but it's my today.
Tan is the new blue clue.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know, you know. Right. Yeah. But sorry if I offended anybody with if you're wearing earth tones right now. I'm sorry about that. But.
We love earth tones and bright tones. Here we are, old soul, young world.
No, I'm just confused by sick fits.
You know, clothes and stuff, you know, reoccurs. It comes back and in and out because they run out of ideas and they need to resell stuff.
Right. Baggy full print.
I bring this up on like so many of my podcasts, but remix culture is an actual definition, and we do it in every generation throughout history.
Yeah, good
but
call.
nobody wants to admit that we remix culture, but we do.
Of course we do.
In music, in clothing, in language.
How do you think the economy keeps going?
How does it
if
keep
people
going?
had all the stuff they wanted and didn't need to buy any new stuff?
Yeah.
You gotta remix some.
That's why your washing machine doesn't last 50 years anymore. You know,
That's
it's
why
because like, they
skateboards
want you to buy
break,
another
Tom.
one.
Yeah, skateboards don't last forever.
Nothing lasts anymore. It's called something, cognitive something. I forget the word. No, it isn't that. But
No,
it's
you're
something.
right.
I forget the name of it.
Yes.
I can't remember anything right now,
that's
but
funny.
that's okay.
But
It is a
guess-
thing.
I guess also going on that
Things break
notion,
over
like,
time on purpose.
scratching came back
Back.
big time, right? Come on, correct me if I'm wrong here.
Scratching's huge right now.
More
I mean-
like I'd say more on the West Coast. Like they have like scratch academies where like it's just like
No.
yeah, and there's just like desks with tons of these turntables and dope mixers and like Beat Junkies have an academy that's like a Beat Junkies is a legendary DJ crew out of the Bay Area in California, and they have literally like classes where they're like, okay, like hand forward, other hand back, like and that's how I learned from Slip. He'd be like, nope, not like that, and I'd be like, oh, you know.
You got to get the fundamentals down before you can ramp it up.
Yeah, exactly. Got to learn how to crawl, you know.
And you know, guys, before we give the people a little taste of what you actually do,
Bad Boys 2.
you know, it seems like, and I'm actually going to relate it back to a couple episodes ago. I had somebody on my show, shout out Marlon O. He is a really good friend of mine. He does podcasting, photography, videography. He actually works at the ICA, which is pretty dope that you guys mentioned that. Nice. So he teaches photography at the ICA. But he put me on to podcasting, and he was the one that really like started me off, like told me like, Jess, just do it. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for him, I really wouldn't have known what podcasting actually is. I wouldn't have stepped into the realm of podcasting, just all of that. You know what I mean? And when somebody asked me, I related to him. And I know when I asked you, you related it to somebody. No. It was somebody who taught you. You said his name.
Elliot Ness.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then when we started talking, you were like, oh, Slip taught me. And it sounds like in scratching, you kind of have to be like, shown the ways, like it's kind of like a Padawan Jedi type vibe, you know, and that's how I feel. So,
and then even to like, I came from a skateboard park mentality because I'm very proficient at BMX bike riding.
Oh,
and so
dope.
If I show up to the skate park, I'm like, all right, like, you know, should probably get out of the way. Like,
Move out the way.
But then I got in a room with these people who are scratching records, and I am not even close to in the pecking order, if you will. And I was like, wow, I am very humbled right now by the skills and the fact that people were like, get out of the way. And I was like, word, I will, you know, because I ain't as nice as you right now.
Because you're in a room with me and Ness.
That was tough.
But I feel like, so like you're under him by a couple of years, so it's kind of still that like Jedi Padawan.
And I was also with, shout out Ness, by the way, I was with two of the best turntablists, if not in the state, on the East Coast, 100%. And I didn't realize, I was like, damn, these guys are kind of jerks. I don't know what's going on. I'm just kidding. Okay.
Me and Elliot Ness, we come from we had a crew called Deck Demons, and we were very
competitive.
Yeah, very competitive, very like in your face scratching, and very like rugged.
Hardcore scratch.
Instead of treating it like a musical instrument, we treated it like a basketball game.
Yeah,
you know, like we were boxing
competitive
people
as
out.
fuck.
We were, you know, like everything was aggressive.
Yes.
We also had another DJ Logix. DJ Emo was also in that group.
Love emo.
But this guy Logix was just so good. He was so fast and so nasty with his style. You know, I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
Me and Ness both learned a lot from him. Yeah. But Ness taught me, you know, he showed me the way. You know, like he came in and was like, here's some videos, take these home, study them, come back to me.
Right.
So.
And also, I think that's the thing, like showing people the way and like passing down the techniques and the talent and the gift. Like we said, it's rare. You know what I mean? Yes, how do you learn something that's rare? Through, you know, verbal or written or shown actions. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how history and culture is passed on. Absolutely. So like to pass the culture on, you have to be shown. And I see that in both of you. Like I know you guys, you know, we're given a gift through certain people, and it's like I see you still learning off Slipwax. You know what I mean? Which is dope. It's like, and you even admit it. You're like, I'm still
as soon as
a student.
As soon as you think you're good at anything, there's gonna be somebody.
And then
that's
I see you're a student too. Like you're learning every day.
I'm still learning too, and it's, you know, you can never reach that top. You can only just get better and better and better, and just, you know, it does pay off. I mean, it paid off for me pretty well. I mean, as far as, shows and stuff, I'd get pretty well with the shows. And I'm doing some stuff with legendary DJs I've always wanted to work with, like.
Shout them out, yo.
The Rob Swift.
Hey.
I mean, we did a thing with, it was 7 of us, 7 DJs, all in different podiums around a room. It's this thing. And we did that, what was that place?
In New York?
Was it MIT?
I
think it was MIT. MIT, yeah.
I was in Maine.
So we tried out for this thing. It was headed by Rob Swift, who's the executionist, and we all took separate parts. We got an original composition, and we all took separate parts from it. And as 7 people playing together, it made an orchestra with turntables.
Sounds so beautiful.
It's
oh
cool.
My
and we weren't right next to each other, so we couldn't I've been in a when I was
you
saying
have to feel it.
When I say I work with Ellie Ness in a DJ group, that means there was 3 of us playing at the same time.
Right.
Like I would play the drum, he would play the bass line, and the other guy would scratch, and then we'd switch it up and do cool tricks and stuff. And that's like a battle DJ team. And then this is kind of the next level of that. This is like an orchestra. This is 7 people.
Right.
And we're all far away from each other, so we have to know every part of every
sax,
little
drums, guitar, literally different people.
But your one part is very important. If you mess it up,
then the whole team's going down. Yeah. Right.
It's beautiful, honestly.
Cool.
It is fun. And that was a really interesting thing when going back to real quick the show at the Institute of Contemporary Art that we did. Me and Slipwax put together this routine, and we would just sit in his studio and just do it over and over and over until finally you're like, all right,
I can walk down the street doing this.
Right.
And on the phone.
And it's like, I don't think we could do it, right this very minute, but I bet you if you give us, an hour practice, we'd already remember exactly what we did. But then you go and you're on stage and it's the after party for Kid Koala at the ICA and you're like, damn, I'm like a tiny bit nervous right now, and you get a little bugged out and all your buddies are there, or the rest of Table Manners crew is there and they're like, well, how come these, you can kind of feel on stage we're all great friends, but you can feel the competition. How come they get to do?
It's competitive competition,
what I mean? And no one allowed us to meet to do a routine.
It's healthy.
We just had the idea. You know what I mean? And we were like, oh, we got to do this because it's going to look sick in front of this crowd. It's going to be, and it makes us look organized. Versus just being like, look at us, we're 12 people that know how to scratch. It gives, and that's something Slipwax taught me. Or was really adamant about, telling me don't just you can wing it, but make it look like, you're there for something, what I mean? And don't just show off the whole time,
It's kind of like you can scratch a million things and you want to, less is more with scratching a lot of the time. You don't want to be
Except
all over
tonight,
all the time. We're going to go all over tonight.
More is more tonight.
You want to leave them wanting more. You want to be like, wait a minute, did that guy just murder it that hard? And then he just left?
Yeah, it's kind of funny too because you show up and and again, I don't know, I sound condescending.
Show up and show out.
No,
sorry.
I don't even want to sound
I got a little lit right there.
I don't even want to sound condescending, sound condescending to rappers or anything, but you can always tell when there's that one rapper, whether it be, I don't care what your gender is, that wants to be heard from the second they walk in that door.
Yeah,
they're not even on stage yet, and they're
all attention on them. Yeah.
And you're like, oh my goodness, and it's so much sicker, in my humble opinion, to just have a couple drinks by the bar, walk up, absolutely destroy the turntables, and then just casually walk away. And people are like, what is...
ghost.
That's such a style right there.
Yeah, what is happening right now?
And also the thing with scratch, for me...
the clue move.
That's the slip. That's our move.
The slip clue.
I used to just, I didn't... Obviously, when I go into a place to DJ, I'd play the Middle East, since 2000.
R.I.P. Middle East. So many good memories
years I was over there with Leeds doing those shows.
I've had a couple art shows there. Oh, so sad.
Yeah, it's such a great spot.
Yeah, it really is.
But I'd walk in there with my DJ equipment and I'd get looks from kids and they'd be like, who's this idiot? You know what I mean? Because I'm I look like a little nerd.
I couldn't even get in I couldn't even get in the door when
as soon as I cut the records,
taking me.
It's a different story, and that's kind of what I liked it because I was like, oh, wait till these dudes see what happens when I set these these up. They won't be
100%.
snickering in the background anymore. You know what I mean?
Yo, you just well, I've said the story before, but like you guys know I do spoken word poetry. I did an opus back in the day or whatever. So like I would get judgment. Like people would be like, "Oh, what are you going to talk about?" Like I literally had a guy say like, "What are you going to talk about?" Like butterflies and like kittens one time, and I like got up. I was talking about like racial inequality and like all the shit going on in the government. And he came up after he apologized. You know, and I said this on a podcast way back, but it's so facts. Like I can never stop relating to that moment. Like when you say that, it's like people just, oh, look at this nerd coming. What's he about to do with these fucking? Look at all this equipment he has set up, and then you're like,
was that a glasses? Was that a joke about my glasses?
What?
Was that a joke about my glasses?
What did I say?
You said, "Look at this nerd with the DJ equipment." No, listen, that did happen. They wouldn't even let me in the door. Slipwax started. You know, I was finally.
Why they think you're too young?
He's underage.
Nerdy, it always happens though. You know, it even happens to yourself. If you judge someone in the wrong, you're like, "Look at this idiot," and then 10 minutes later, you're like, "Damn, that guy's real good."
Right, right. It always comes back to you.
It always comes back to you. So it happens to other people, and it did for them. See that if they say something, it's even better.
Exactly.
Funny. Yep. I literally remember like because Slipwax finally was like, "All right, you want to come to a show with me?" And this is the best type of practice. My God, because now I'm in Slipwax's studio, you know, scratching records all the time, and I might have thought that I was like decent at it at the time, but I didn't know what a stage looked like, nor did I know like what goes into like the setup. All those different things, the people you have to interact with when you first get there, meeting the sound guy, asking the right questions, obviously Slipwax, all those things. So I would just sponge the whole time and literally tug on his shoulder and be like, "What's this for? What's this for?" And go to the van and get the turntables.
Drinks.
Go get and I'm like, "Hi, I'm here with Slipwax. I have tickets for cheeseburgers." And
hello, it's me.
You know,
Clue.
And they'd be like, "What the hell is this kid doing?"
Hi, I'm Jeff.
I just didn't. I was young. I was like 22 . You know what I mean?
What shows did we? Must have been
cute, right?
Yeah, it's mad cute. Y'all are cute. I'm not gonna lie. Cute friend situation here.
I got burger tickets. I'm with Slipwax. They're like, "Who the hell is that?" It's just like some bartender at the Middle East. Like,
they don't give a fuck about you. You're like Slipwax,
but
you know.
We're doing important things.
Big moves, don't you know?
Yeah, it's funny. So that was a huge learning experience for me, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was massive for me to learn because it's like you're the first one in. And you're the last one out.
That's 100%.
And you're running the show to make people having a good time.
And I can certifiably say, like, I've never done a show of your stature solo. Like pretty much any time I would do like a bigger thing, or if I got like a little event, like the event we did recently, I was like, I'm bringing Slipwax and I'm gonna pay him half at least, or whatever I need to pay him, because it's so much easier with the two of us. And even
it's a lot of work. That's what the thing people don't see. Like, oh, they're gonna see you doing your DJ shit. No, we had a setup for how long before? It was like a half an hour.
It's a lot of setup. It's a lot of practice.
And that was quick, honestly. And you know, shout out. I'm so sorry. You're Biz. Thank you. Shout out, because that was like actually really smooth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And like when you're doing an event type show, it's like a wedding or graduation or whatever.
That kind of thing, you have to make sure you have the right music. You can't just show up with like 90s hip hop to a wedding.
Right. You have to be prepared for the occasion.
Yeah, you got to have Hall & Oates, you know?
Yeah.
Stand 100%. By me.
Hall & Oates, he says.
Like but you got to have the right music for each hip hop show too. There's certain hip hop shows you can't play commercial music. You got to play underground stuff. There's certain music that's this trap sound. There's certain ones that are like old school hip hop shows.
Yeah, you need to know your audience pretty much. Yeah.
I feel like I do better at the old school stuff because I can scratch and I can show off.
I feel that.
I've gotten a DJ for everybody I've ever wanted to even see, you know, throughout the years.
Yeah. I think what it was, I only got up there for a second before, thank God, because it was a massive show, but Pete Rock versus DJ Premier. That was completely out of control. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's fun.
And they kind of set it up like a battle, but it was like a friendly battle, and they had two setups, and they were kind of like adjacent towards each other, Pete Rock and Premier, and excuse me. When we got to see that, it was really eye-opening because they're two legendary DJs, but they don't really scratch, you know, as much as you would think.
Yeah.
It's more playing music and
their hits. I mean,
the battle was about who has like basically the most legendary beats.
Yeah,
ever.
I did one of those too. It was Just Blaze and Alchemist.
Ooh,
Same idea.
Oh, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was a good show.
That's fire.
That's
Yeah,
like
Alchemist
to my
is nutty.
peoples.
Yeah, Alchemist is absolutely nutty, but
Definitely on the top.
You guys have heard of Versus TV, like what Swiss Beats and Timbaland got going. I feel like they should bring back like those guys, like those legends, like and have them battle, or have more DJs actually do that. I know they had one. They had one matchup where those two DJs going at it, but I feel like they should have that be more of a common thing, like DJs playing their own beats, battling each other. Like,
for sure.
That'd be really cool.
They do that with like
Love that concept. It's just
right,
awesome.
the old school vibes, like
like a Kid Capri style or something like that, or like what's the dude from Digging in the Crates? Oh my God, why am I running a blank? DITC crew. He made all the beats for Big L and everyone. Gosh, never mind. I'll catch it back in a minute. But that was like the original like beat battles in like the 90s. God, I can't remember. It's not, whatever.
Have you guys ever
Lord Finesse?
Oh, Lord Finesse.
Lord Finesse. Thank you.
Have you guys ever like gone at each other, like friendly, but gone at each other?
friendly competition.
I mean, definitely jokes about it. Obviously, like it's hard for someone
like
to say
I'll
this,
fucking
but
kill you.
fucking fucking win. Yeah,
Both of y'all smirked right away when I asked that.
yeah. No,
That means you guys do.
You don't want the sauce, yo.
Well, I think the funny thing about that is, and especially if we go to like events where there's a lot of DJs, and again, many different genders, many different ages, and I don't know if I'll spit numbers here, but Slipwax is 10 years older than me, and that makes a huge difference.
Wow, you guys look good.
Thanks.
I look good.
Yeah,
You look normal.
You look pretty. You look
Damn, all cocky.
You look. You look hot.
You look hot.
You look high. Y'all.
Hey, what?
No, but where was I going with this? When we show up, there's definitely a different element that or a tone that the room changes, and especially definitely with Ness. That's my
Ness is
Elliot
great.
Ness
Like
joke.
he's great because
The room changes.
he makes people
he's
want
intimidating.
to cut.
He really is.
I don't know what it
Where's
is.
Elliot Ness at? You guys bring him on the show in the future?
Yeah, we'll get him on here.
We'll get him on here.
It's
He'll love
lit.
it. Yeah.
No, but he was intimidating at first because I was like, wow, first of all, this dude's way bigger than me, like physically. And second of all, he's way nicer than me on the turntables. And third of all, he's older than me. So again, going back to that skate park mentality.
1, 2, and
But
3.
like, I know respect
that
though, so I stand off to the side when the pros are playing.
If you do good in front of Ness, he'll let you know it. He'll be like, "Yo, you murdered!"
No, and he'll
like,
and
he knows.
he'll shout you out for sure. And I'm not saying like it's in a bad way. It's in the best, most like healthy, competitive way. But some people in this day and age will take that the wrong way. And I've had people yell at me. I was like, "Yo, you should stand like this, stand away from the turntables a little bit, give yourself some body space instead of pressing your belly against it and trying to expect your arms to move around the right way." And I forget I don't know who it was, whatever. Some guy was like, "Whoa, whatever. You can't tell me what to do." And I was like, I was just trying to, and
Constructive criticism, that's all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like rapping,
No hate.
That's where DJing is much different from rapping because there is a way to move your body.
Facts.
There is a certain way,
Scratching, and think about rapping. Rapping, you have to speak to a generation of people. That's tough, to pick the right words. But scratching, you have to learn how to talk with your hands with a record that was never meant to be scratched in the first place.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they both have their own aspects that make them hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's like playing ping pong with a mini bat.
yeah, right.
That's the best metaphor I've ever made. Also, real quick, I want to shout out Kinetic Dialect real quick before I lose it off my mind. Gibbs, he's a great dude, and he's actually a local
AKA
MC.
Mouth.
Yeah, Kinetic Mouth, and
Kinetic
I
Mouth?
went
He
to.
goes by Kinetic, he goes by Mouth. But he's also, he scratches and he raps.
He's a really smart dude, yeah. And I went to New York with him after 3 days of meeting him. I went to New York on a whim. We went to Rock the Bell store in Manhattan,
Dope.
which had every hip hop that you could possibly think of, plus Rage Against the Machine. It was a 2-day festival that was completely out of control. And excuse me, on the way back, we were like on the Funghua bus on the way back. We took the Funghua up and down, getting drunk the whole way. And I'm like, I want to scratch, dude. Like, that was sick. He's like, I know a guy.
Oh my God.
I know, dude.
Yeah, his name is
I know a
Slipwax.
guy.
His name is Slipwax, but he's hard to get a hold of. And I was like, well,
Stop it.
that's my new mission. Yeah, I was like, I'm getting
That's
And he was
how
in
you
my
got
bushes every day
introduced?
for like 3
yeah.
weeks.
So then I was throwing pebbles at his window. I was kind of like John Cusack. I had the
Yeah, he
radio.
had the boombox over his head.
yeah, I had the radio.
Tap, tap.
I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Be my friend. Shit like that.
Making me blush.
Yeah, it was
Please,
sick. And then-
Slipwax.
No, but that's true story. So then it's like, and it's hard, you know. So and we would just start scratching, and then I would go home, and I bought one turntable and a wicked, shitty bunk,
Wicked bunk
a
fucking mixer kid.
wicked shitty mixer.
Whoa,
And
the
me
Boston just came out of his soul.
little champagne, and he starts going crazy.
The fucking mixer kid. Was it me or
And,
Slipwax? Who knows?
Yeah, right.
Yo, kid.
The worst, shittiest fucking mixer you've ever seen.
It was my
And,
father.
Should we
and
just
we
go
just started
fucking
tearing it
back
up.
and forth all night like this?
Oh god. So we put what I got. Oh, the
My
first
father's.
the first record I had, I got it Mystery Train,
Nice.
and it was a Goodfellas. And so we thought that was me and my
wow.
buddy Joe. Shout out little Joe, love you, buddy. And he'll probably never listen to this. That's okay though. And we put on that Goodfellas record. We thought it was the funniest thing, man. When Joe Pesci's voice comes in and starts talking shit,
scratch it.
and then and then you're like, I
used to take out
I'm
old
doing
president
it.
records, like the president speaking, and scratch that.
Yeah,
I love
the
it.
JFK one is the most because records you can get 20 of those at any record. Yeah, but no, that's the thing.
That $1 million prize thing, I think it's Versus. That's putting that on Triller and Versus.
Okay. Oh, $1 million prize for scratching
Yeah,
records.
it's like $1 million.
I've heard that. I haven't.
It's
Sounds
I've been tagging
bonkers.
it a few times. I probably should put together a routine just because, you know,
Just because.
what do we get to lose? You know.
Facts.
Just a milli. Resident DJ competition. Win $1 million.
Annual salary.
And
$1
you-
million.
and you get
For a whole year for it?
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Oh, whole yeah. What's the tax situation?
Right?
Are you gonna get put in a
Are you
different tax bracket?
covered? Do they feed you? That's the
The
big
main
thing.
question, do
Food
they
cost.
feed
Yeah, yeah,
you?
At least
yeah.
you know they're
Food
getting
cost.
the prices right with this DJ stuff.
What's my daily food allocation
You
budget?
just sound like Family Feud. The prize is... Wait, is it the same show?
Yeah, right.
Price is
The Price
Right.
is Right is a different show.
Oh, fuck.
I have a
Damn
friend.
it.
There was a guy named DJ.
Cheers!
I love it. I love it.
A friend of he was in the Deck Demons 2, DJ JCO when we first.
Yeah, JC.
It was Mia Logic, Elliot Ness, and JCO, and JCO went on to win the VH1 DJ
Master of the Scratch.
Master.
Oh, wow.
He won a lot of, like $250,000.
And then he travels all around now. Shout out JCO.
He got put on by the.
Smirnoff.
Is it Smirnoff?
Well, when you won the
Smirnoff?
thing, I remember
Smirnoff.
because I was watching the show and that dude,
Sponsored by Smirnoff?
that dude Chris Carnes was the finalist.
Yeah.
He's
Vajra?
he used to go by Vajra. Yeah, because Chris Carnes, he's the DJ for Pretty Lights, dude.
Yeah.
Like he's up there, and this kid from the North Shore, DJ JCO, won, and it was just like, yes, North Shore, represent. Like,
That was crazy.
yeah, breed them different. But the fact that we have so many DJs in the North Shore does say a lot because it shows that positivity for an outlet like this is infectious. You know, within like a certain kind of geographical area. Because I loved Maine, but you weren't finding anybody with real. In fact, I bought probably all the turntables in Maine on Craigslist. For whatever old people had them in like Rumford and Smithfield and all these weird places and brought them back to Massachusetts.
Ripped them out of their
Yeah.
basements.
Sold them to Massachusetts people. Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
was like, this is, and they were, because going back again, these are really hard to find. Mm-hmm. And they're only getting
can
more
tell.
rare and more expensive. Yeah.
Facts.
Crazy. We should probably get into it soon though.
So, we will get into it when we come back briefly because, we've been chopping it the fuck up.
Yeah, we're going to have to edit this down.
Yeah,
I'm
we're going to have to
long-winded.
cut this. Shout out Biz.
Jeez.
Shout out Biz every week. Always cutting my shit
Like,
up.
we're going to have Slipwax back, but that other guy's talking a
Just
lot.
keeps talking. Won't shut his damn trap.
I don't know about either of those motherfuckers.
Lingerers. Yeah.
But yeah, you know what the thing is too? Scratching. If you know somebody with turntables and you end up that was actually Menace calling me.
Take the turntable
if you play with the scratch, if you don't own it, you mess around with it, for some reason it's addictive. And I've noticed that like anybody that comes to my house that scratches gets like the itch.
Smile.
Wait,
it's like a disease.
I'm sorry, are you guys gonna let me try your scratch
You might not
tables
want to because
today?
if you do,
Or am I gonna be addicted
You
if
might
I
get addicted.
try the scratch tables?
It's kind of like a drug, like you touch them and then the next morning
any
you
scratch.
My sister came to visit.
Don't do it once.
Don't do the scratch.
My
do it
sister is
once.
a big hip hop head. She lives out in Albany, but she came to visit and I had her scratching. And the next day she called me. She went back to Albany. She called me and she's like, "Yo, I want to scratch right now."
I want to cut records.
Like,
I'm
I know
not
you
gonna
do.
lie. I've been checking out these scratch tables. Like, damn, you looking good over
Don't you
there.
I kind of just want to.
I just want
It's something about it.
I
You want
can't
to
do the sound effects, but I want to do
You're
it.
not supposed to touch it, so you want to touch it.
I want to touch it so bad.
Yeah.
So, since I can't touch it, or maybe I don't know how to touch it, I want to have you guys touch them.
No doubt.
And show the people how you touch them. If you ain't been listening to the beginning of this episode, that might sound a little weird to you. But, if you have been
Word
listening, we got
placement.
some dope ass.
I give everybody, if you get the chance to cut it up or to play with turntables at one time, even a CDJ setup, just try it out because there's something about it. It's fun. You'll be like, oh, it's kind of like surfing on a record or on a beat with a record.
Yeah.
Right. And my whole thing that's fun too, especially like a small like house party. I love like doing house parties. The whole thing is I'm not really good at standing around at a house party for 4+ hours,
Right.
and like
This gives you something to do.
Yeah, and it keeps you in control. I'm kind of like I got control issues. Slipwax, okay,
From this.
So yeah, exactly, right. So it's like it keeps you up on a little pedestal, the whole time.
Yeah, you're like, I'm the cool one because I'm
actually
running the show.
coolest one in the,
If you don't like
in the
it,
fucking
I'm
room right
making
now.
the music. You heard?
See ya.
I'm making the sounds,
Right.
not you.
Like, who's the guy with the glasses with the old record players?
my dad's friend.
And he's cool as fuck. His
Yeah.
name's Jeff.
Actually, straight up, one time, one of the last things I want to say that's hilarious before we do get into it is even like a long time ago at Opus, I think this was seriously like 7 years ago, this young college kid, I was happy for him because he was excited. We were scratching, and this young college kid walked up and pointed right at me from like 2 feet away and goes, "Oh my God, these old guys are doing old school shit." And I was like, wow. I was like, I don't know if I should even be mad at that.
like, I'm young still.
I was like,
Fuck.
God damn. I was like, this kid, but he was probably like fresh 21,
Yeah,
maybe
right.
not even. Who knows? You know what I mean? And I was like, geez, little boy, thanks.
Thanks, little kid. Go back to your video games.
Yeah. I heard they have Mai Tais
Even though
upstairs.
video games are fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. Jeez.
I know. Video games suck, dude.
No,
What
they're
are
all
you
right.
talking about?
They're fun for people that want to do
Absolutely
that.
rots
I'm not
your
saying
brain.
that at all. I'm saying
my-
that this is like something
it
else to
depends
do.
what kind of video games
Yeah, yeah.
you're
I'm
talking
sorry.
about.
This is just
I was
another type of
heavy-handed with
video
that
game.
opinion. I'm sorry.
It's just no video.
Yeah.
This is no
And no
video.
game.
Yeah.
No game.
No.
All real.
I've had bad roommate experiences.
You know what
Okay,
this
I'm
is
very
actually
sorry.
similar to? Like turntablism is kind of like
joking.
skating. It's like you can do tricks with the turntables. You can do, but you're not hurting. You're not twisting your leg, and you can do it when you're over the age of 30.
Right.
But you can still do fun little tricks when it's with your hands. It's still just as satisfying as making a skateboard do.
I am getting some pretty severe carpal tunnel recently, but other than that,
He's like, but I still
That's all you have to worry about, though.
I still scratch away.
I'm like, oh, every day. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When you get old, it's so sad.
No, it's good physical therapy too. Remember, Slipwax had a pretty severe arm injury. I don't have to get too deep into it, but I swear, in my opinion, without cutting
maybe
records,
faster.
no, maybe it's a superhuman, but without cutting records, I bet you it wouldn't have sprung back as quick. But just in a quick second,
Probably not. Yeah, it's good
a little
physical
bit
therapy.
exercise for it.
Right.
Well, the
you know?
doctors went in there and they cut all the tendons shorter, so it's very
Ugh.
quick.
Right.
No, I'm just joking.
I watched a lot
God.
of Dr. Oz, so that's my hypothesis.
They went in there and messed around and put computer chips in my arm.
Yes. Right.
He's a robot now. Half robot.
Wow.
Half man, half
Cyborg.
DJ.
Wow. It's T1000.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Right. Nice. All right. Well, with that being said,
Well, on that note, everybody, also Young World listeners, we are going to give you a little taste of what it is to do turntables, to do scratching, to kind of chop it up, bring back the old school hip hop vibes, bring back the cuts. You know what I mean? Can you make a little noise?
The wiki.
yeah, it goes error.
Can you do a little something better than that?
Error.
Wiggity, wiggity.
Fresh and Wild.
Now, that's for the other people. Guys, anybody asks you if you DJ, what they'll say to you is,
They want you to make a noise.
You do the
wiggle wiggle.
They gotta move the hands in this sort of manner.
Do you do this move?
You mean
You mean
Right.
this?
So you still DJing?
Right. Because every time I go up to somebody that plays professional baseball, I go, "Do you do the?"
Oh man!
Right, and they're like, "Yes, that's because how you play baseball."
Yeah.
We're blessed to have two awesome people who can scratch DJ on the show tonight. Shout out Clue. Shout out DJ Slipwax. I appreciate both y'all. We're going to chop it up a little bit, do a little bit of, scratching, have them show us what the turntables do.
We're going to show off
some techniques. They're going to show what they can do with their hands, their small hand and their large hand.
Oh, geez.
So
the weak one.
Wow.
The weak hand and the strong hand.
A strong hand.
Hope y'all enjoy this. We're going to be back after this Old Soul Young World.
Pull up. The fader moves fastly. It's ghastly. It's gas.
and don't. LL, what the hell gonna rock the bells? Or you washed up rappers wanna do this well? Rock the bells.
Got a hot one for you. Can you take care of it? I've got a hot one for you.
That was intense.
You heard it here
We got Clue. We got DJ Slipwax. They just cut that shit up.
Yeah,
I
boy.
don't know if you guys heard what I heard, and you didn't see exactly what I seen with my own eyes, but they cut that shit up. They were doing tricks behind their back. They were doing skirts. They were doing... No, for real, shout out you
good.
guys.
Homie lost his hat.
Yo, that was dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't
it's
even know.
fun. It's fun.
I don't know how you guys get your hands to go that fast, but it's a talent.
Right.
Like, and when you were explaining it the whole first half of the show, I was like, you know what? I've seen it before, but like it's been so long. And then watching it in person was like, wow.
Right.
Like you guys have some serious skills.
It's like when
so
you
shout out.
when you unlock a power and then you just have it.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Go Super Saiyan.
Right. Yeah. We went Dragon Ball Z on that actually. Yeah, sure did. So Tom is kind of like dropping governments, Jesus.
Whoa, drop the government.
My associate Slipwax. He's kind of like what is it?
Associated crime.
Master Roshi. Is that his name? It's something like that. Yeah.
The Roche.
Right. I'm like baby Gohan. Did I pronounce that wrong?
We you know that's what's cool about doing scratching and shit is like you can just get on freestyle it up and just kill it and like have like a conversation back and forth with the cuts and like, oh, let me show you this. Oh yeah, here's something that what you're doing. Let me show you what I can do with that
Right.
too.
Oh, yeah,
Was any of that pre-planned?
No,
This isn't even my
just,
equipment.
Just fun. Yeah,
This isn't my equipment, he says. Let me throw that out there.
Right. I could strap on anyone's pair of skis and do a backflip.
Yeah, you know. By real scratch DJs and real juggle DJs wouldn't they would have been like, okay, it's all right, it can tell it's a freestyle, but you get the point, and then like, it's all good equipment. Don't
It was
get me
like
wrong.
an A minus. We did an A minus.
Maybe a B.
Right.
With practice though, I mean, think of how much better and think of how good it can be. I mean, this is with with rehearsal of a routine. You can get it down where it's. There are dudes that kill it like no flaws ever. Like because you've worked it out to that point. But even just freestyling like that, you can come up with ideas. You can come up with like cool stuff and have fun.
But know what, the whole thing, like honestly, in the room that whole time, the energy was like, it was just insane. You know what I'm saying? Like the vibe between you guys and like you'd be scratching the record and he's like doing the dial and doing the little beat.
Because it's like we get excited
Yo, it was
each
such
other.
teamwork. Like I like literally
chemistry.
so much chemistry. Like the friendship, the vibe, the bond. Like it was literally like you guys were vibing off each other.
Yeah, we didn't have to say it. It's like, you know what he's going to do. I
Yeah.
know he's going to do this. It's like, oh, let me do this for a bit. Like, okay, I see that.
Right.
Yep.
Or like the last show we did, it was actually a high school graduation, but these people were like doing a good job. They rented like a legit mansion off of Wingersheek Beach in West Gloucester. It was huge.
Money.
I thought we were gonna end up on World Star because the floor was gonna fall in. I swear to God.
I thought there was like a big
thought it was
thing
gonna
with
fall.
plates in it, and the
I thought
thing was
everything
like
was gonna break.
on its legs. I'm like, that thing's dead.
And we were going crazy. And I got a brand new speaker, and we were blasting that thing as loud as we could, and people were going crazy. And it was 5 hours of music, and if an average song is like 3 minutes, 30
We don't
seconds,
play the whole song out, obviously. We play,
exactly.
like,
So
10
cut it
seconds.
down to like 2 minutes, and then times that by 5 hours. And it was a lot of songs, and we didn't have any time to meet up beforehand, so we just went out to the car, did our thing.
Freestyle.
Yeah, and what we would say to each other the whole time, because it's really loud, and you're just yelling at each other, and you're like, I got one. So then he plays a song. Oh, yo, I got one. So the whole time he's playing a song, I'm searching through and I'm like, oh, I need to play a heater. I'm like, I'm doing 2 shows, one for the person who's hiring me, and the other show I'm doing is for Slipwax because I gotta prove myself.
Gotta
in this.
impress both peeps.
Yeah. Like, I don't know who's.
That's the thing, you can't,
Right.
you
Only
have
one of
to.
them's paying me though.
That's party DJing, and
One's
party
paying me
DJing.
spiritually.
Party DJing, you can get away with the scratches at certain times, and you can show off and then do all your thing. But they really just want to hear the good songs,
Yeah.
They want to hear the songs that they grew up listening to.
It's my best
It's not
friend.
necessarily about the newest song.
my
It's more
best
about.
friend.
Oh, they went crazy.
It's more about the song that they listened to while they were having fun with their friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was, again, when I was speaking earlier on my weaknesses early on with this type of thing, because I just wanted to show people scratching so bad. But
Yeah.
turns out some people don't care about you model airplanes in your friggin' attic, you know what I mean, or whatever. You know, everyone's got their hobby, but sometimes people just
You have a job and you have to do that job, but you can mix scratching into it, and you can show them that you know how to work that turntable.
Yeah.
Like
make
no
it
other.
dope. Yeah. So before that last show we did, I knew that song was it Doja. Who does Best Friend? Not Doja Cat.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Thug.
It's Doja. Yeah. Whatever.
No,
I don't
you're
know.
right.
It's the Doja Cat.
Doja Cat.
Okay. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
I went and I downloaded.
Is that my bestie in a testy?
Yeah. There you go. Right. Thank you. So I
Not the
downloaded.
Young Thug one. It's
I
different.
downloaded the original. Then I downloaded the instrumental. Then I downloaded the acapella. And for those of you that don't know, that means just the words.
Just the words,
So
no beat.
I could play out, the beat and then scratch the words over it.
Oh,
so that
it's
way
lit.
I got my little yayas out.
I
so
kind of
could
want to hear
scratch.
that. I'm not
It
gonna
sounds
lie.
dope. Yeah, it's like
I feel like me and my girls will be like, oh,
it sounds crazy. And then because it sounds recognizable.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but then after a second, they're like, oh, wait, is he doing that? Oh, like,
You can pre-plan for days. You can say, oh, I'm going to play this club, and it's
Once
going to
you
be
get
like
there,
that there.
yeah, once
But
you
then
get there.
it's never like that there. You get there and you're like, this is I
Right.
didn't play one song I put in that crate. You
Yeah,
put
I
out
know.
500 songs in a crate that you're going to fly through, and then when you get there, you're like, wait a minute. These people want to hear songs that are
Gotta switch
10
the
years older than
vibe
that.
up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Race day is always different than
You know
the
what?
track.
I got to give it to this younger generation of kids. They do accept a lot of music that they didn't even grow up with, and they weren't even born when it came out, and they're vibing to it. Like I can play like hits, like
Yeah.
in the club with people like in dresses, girls dressed to
Yeah.
the nines, and play like September or something stupid, and people will go crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
cool. I like that because it's more accessible. I feel like to the younger kids, all music. They're not just living in one genre.
No, it's fun. And then also to like warm them up with like recognizable stuff. Wait till the party gets a little bit, what kids say?
And then drop the
bumping.
Family Matters theme song
Right,
on them
and
or
then-
something like that.
and then you
watch the
no,
place
and
go
then
crazy.
you can cut. Then you can cut a little bit once they're, you can't just show up.
And that's the thing too. You
Can't
have
just
to
show
win
up,
that.
start
Every crowd is different. You might have a name for yourself, but when you get in front of that people, they don't know you, and you have to prove yourself to these people. You have to
Yeah.
be like, yo, I can kill it. Let me show you what I can do, and then I can show off. Or else they're never going to accept it. If you get in there and you just start scratching right off the jump, and unless you're like really, really good with it, and they know about scratching, they're not
They're
going to
gonna be
really
like,
tell.
what
bored
is this?
automatically.
Yeah.
If you got to play their songs first and get them into it, and then you can really go anywhere, and then you can do those crazy weird things where
Right.
inspect
Yeah.
the deck. I mean, inspect the gadget theme song or something in there.
The deck, I mean,
Expect the deck. Expect the gadget,
that's it.
actually.
Now we're onto something.
Yeah, maybe that remix there.
Fire.
Wow. Yeah. No, but that last event we did was fun because it was really eye opening to me. And gonna date myself here, but man, those people were young and they were fucking tearing it up. I was
Yeah,
like,
they were tearing it up to songs from like 2012 and shit. Because
Yeah.
I remember
Oh,
playing.
getting lit.
I
Oh,
remember
Missy Elliott was a huge hit.
Okay.
Yeah, even earlier because I was playing new stuff and they were like, "Yeah, this is good." But then when I was playing all those classic, there's a whole slew of songs that never get old that most DJs know about. They have them in a crate and that they're their go tos at the like if things start to like get under the
They'll
collar
whip
and they
them out real
like, oh,
quick.
I need a song now. This always works.
This is the one,
You know?
right? And then there's a bunch of no-nos too.
There's
You
a
know
lot
what I mean? There's just so many no-nos where you're like really think you're gonna kill it, and then it's like,
Doesn't
what?
work.
I love Return of the Mac, but just not right now.
Yeah, there's a certain time. That's it. You gotta. There is a time of the night though when Return of the Mac, no matter what the age group, it could work.
It will
At the
fucking
right
hit.
time, you have
Yeah.
to know
You
when to
gotta
hold
feel
them.
the moment. Actually, you joked on it earlier, but like an empath, you joked about like being an empath, and it's like you really do have to kind of be an empath to be a DJ. you have to
100%,
feel it.
yeah. All
You know
my
what I'm
jokes
saying?
are just
Like,
self-deprecating and towards myself, but yeah.
well, 100%. Same to me, my
Yeah,
friend.
yeah, yeah.
So
No,
read that
you're
crowd.
right.
you
You're
have
right.
to joke about your own self,
No, you're
but
right, yeah. And
it's true.
And I appreciate you saying that because
Yeah.
it's sensitive up there. You're like, I thought I was.
You're
off.
vulnerable.
Yeah,
You're like,
sometimes,
oh, are they
yeah.
gonna like what I'm saying or
Right.
feeling
Well,
or
you can,
vibing?
You
Like,
can there's a little advice to the DJs that are out there that are doing it. Don't stick on something that's not working. If you're looking out there and you don't see people dancing, even if you think that song is like, oh, this is the hot shit and it's gonna go so well if I play
Yeah.
this. It might be a dope track, but these people might not know it yet, and they might not be into it yet, and they might not have memories about it. And if it doesn't work, if you see people, then you have to be able to quick mix into the next thing right away, and you have to kind of play two songs instead
Yeah.
of having one in the background.
Yeah.
You have a couple lined up in your head that if this doesn't work, I'm going to jump to this because
Yeah.
I know this will work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I constantly am. I don't drink at the club. I never drink while I'm DJing, and I'll look out at the crowd and I'll say, is this song working? Oh, I see people dancing. I'm going to keep it on for a second. And if I see those people start to slow down and then start to move off the dance floor, I'm right to the next song. And if I throw something on, it doesn't work right away, I'm right like within 4 to 8 bars on to the next song. You know,
Sure. And that's really hard to do. And that was something I recognized at a early stage when meeting Slipwax. I'm like, wow, his transitions are phenomenal, because it could be like, that the BPM is important, which is something I learned early on. Luckily, it always has to start slower and get ramped up. And
there's ways of doing it. There's
a
ups and downs.
mountain.
There's
a mountain
the slow
theory.
incline.
Right,
There's different ways to do it.
Right.
But
And
it's
then
all
like
based on beat per minute most of the time. Yeah, like you
and
want to
also
keep it
learning
timed right.
too, like when people are just going outside and there's like 70 people outside smoking butts, or 50 people at the bar, and it's not dance floor time, because it's just not.
Right.
It's like
That's reading the crowd.
It's like a fucking intermission type situation, informal, where everyone goes out, shoots the shit in the middle of the street, and then they're coming back in. It's about to get wild again, because here comes the we're all
of the night.
we're all ants, following around. You know what I mean? So
Well, you are.
well, I mean, I'm
Ant-Man.
We don't want to.
We're all sheep.
I'm
Is
more
that
like
what-
Spider-Man, Tom.
Oh, Ant-Man, Spider-Man.
No, but that's true. Like you have to know that's huge. Like you can't just hit him. You know, you got to come up and down. I like to do the old bring him up and then drop him off.
Right,
and then bring him
right.
up, because if you do that, it's not going to get boring and saturated and sound like the same thing over and over again. And you can listen to the same tempo and it sounds good for a while, but then you need to I like the abrupt change. Even if it goes from double time to half time, but even if you just slam them just with like a song with that just has an intro that that takes over the song. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, you can throw it on. I can't think of it right now.
I've been mixing Jukebox Hero by Foreigner with like EDM beats, and it sounds insane, because he's like if you really listen to the words in that, it's awesome, and it really spoke to me, because it was like, he's like outside. Basically, if you listen to the words, he's outside of the club. He can hear the music inside. He can't fucking believe it. He doesn't know how to get in, right? Because he's got no money. And he's like, fuck it, I'm going to go buy a guitar. Because if I can't be a participant, I'm going to be, the one to watch.
Yeah.
And that was how I approached turntables. I was like, I ain't standing around in this crowd no more. This is boring.
What a great metaphor.
Yeah. He's like, that one guitar. And you're like,
That's
oh,
dope.
snap.
Shit.
He's going on. Yeah. He didn't know how to play it. Shit like that, Yeah. Listen to Foreigner, Jukebox Hero.
All right. I
I'm
know
gonna
the
have
song.
to check that
Give you
out.
goosebumps. Yeah.
Hey.
Great guitar riff in that song too.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Okay.
I mean, it's cheesy as hell, but it's a great
Listen
metaphor.
in, listen up.
I put it on like pretty much daily.
Pretty much play it every morning.
Every morning, start my day off.
And then I put on Hustle and Motivate by Nipsey.
Hey,
right after that. Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
vibe.
I like mixing genres. Like I have a whole album right now. It's all like 50s songs mixed with trap, mixed with 80s rap vocals and stuff,
Dope.
and it's pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie.
And Slipwax's new work is, you know what it is? Here's the test, right? You told me this a while ago. The car test, right?
Oh, yeah.
Put it in your car, drive around. Is it dope?
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
you can't just.
To tell in
How
the
it
studio.
bumps in your car is different
Yeah,
than how it
of
bumps
course.
like
You
in
could-
the
speaker
studio.
system is
or-
different.
You could
Yeah.
light some sage and
You gotta
put
try
on
a
your
couple
Bluetooth.
different
but-
systems.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can't be in your bedroom like, this is sick. You gotta feel it.
Right.
You never have too many references when it comes to like
Right.
sound.
Oh,
Yes,
this
facts.
Slipwax's new work is completely phenomenal. Plug your Instagram real quick
Please
so they
plug.
can follow you. Yeah.
It's DJ Slipwax. on Instagram.
DJ_.
DJ_.
Don't forget the
Slipwax.
underscore.
There's not any Slipwaxes out there.
There's no other
skate
one.
company or something
Don't
that does.
forget the underscore.
There's no DJs though.
Nice. My handle is at ClueProQuo. So that's CLUE Pro Quo with
Fire.
AQ. Yes, and that's kind of a play off of equal exchange. So you do something for me, I do something for you, aka
Yeah, this album. I'm
please give
making
me
now
money
is
and I'll make you art.
Dope.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a dropping soon?
It's a dropping soon. There's a lot of samples in it and stuff, so I'm not sure what platforms I'll be able to go with it because it's like a DJ tape. But it's cool. It's all remix kind of stuff. It's kind of like I don't know what
It's
genre it is.
bonkers. It's the best
Call it remix culture.
It's
Yeah, really,
definitely
thank you.
very remixed. It's like
like-
mixing genres that don't usually go together, but making it work.
Like you said, 50s trap.
Yeah, 50s trap.
50s trap question mark?
Yeah.
Great.
So if I hear something that I'm like, oh, that I could use as a little sample in this song and make it get really big, and I don't know. You just got to hear it. You know, I make a lot of beats and a lot of stuff, and this is just one of the avenues. Like I make a lot of original stuff with no samples, obviously, and just all instrumentation to make funky songs. And like,
Is it going to be a summer drop?
I'm hoping. I'm just trying to figure out. I have like a few things I got to finish off on it, and I got to figure out as far as sample clearings and stuff and all that. And
Dope.
Yeah, you don't want to get got.
Yeah.
But it might just be for listeners and not for like a.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
100%.
absolutely phenomenal, and I would say it's hard because we're just like speaking like metaphors on something you haven't heard yet. But I would say it's a culmination of absolute years and work, and the amount of music knowledge that is required in order to put these pieces together would be like buying a 7,000 piece puzzle, but all the pieces are the same color.
It would be like trying to find two or three 7,000 piece puzzles, then mixing them together to make another painting.
And then you're completely.
What a great metaphor, guys.
It's just bonkers.
But
You guys are visual like me. I like the visuals. Yeah.
The thing is like I was when I did this tape, I would find songs with similar key structure. Like I would have like it'd be in C minor, and I'd know that the song was in C minor, and I'd find
that's where I
another
sleep, and he's smarter.
song in C,
Yeah.
and mix them together.
It's wicked fun. I mean, I actually I know we're rambling, but I have to tell this story. So I met Gibney, kinetic dialect, mouth, the kid we were talking about earlier, and I went to New York with him, and then I finally came back, and I met Slipwax probably almost like a year later, and then finally the day came where Kinetic brought me to Slipwax's house, and they were like, bring weed because we got to smoke. And I was like, this is a requirement? Jesus Christ. So I did.
Special
and we show
requirement.
up and we get mega high. And then the next thing I'm like, all right, cool. Like, here's the part where we're going to scratch records. Instead, Slipwax decided to practice the Star Wars bar scene theme song on a, what's it called? The harpsichord?
Yeah, that little harmonic.
It's like you like blow into an air tube and play on a piano, and it's actually a gangster as shit instrument. So he's like, doo, doo, doo.
Wow. What?
And so I'm like, oh,
What a visual
so
right
I'm like,
there.
finally I get to scratch records with the best ever. Let's go. Can't wait to show you my skills. And he's like this. Doo, 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 doo. And he goes, doo, 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 doo. Doo. Oh, wrong chord, son of a bitch. So he starts over, doo, 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 doo. And I'm like, how long do you think this will go on for? It turns out hours because he's got
Hours, he
commitment,
says.
and then finally nails that last note.
That's impressive
And then
as fuck.
we start cutting. And then he murdered me on the turntables, and I left.
Yep. He left crying.
No, I left.
One tear.
What I did was I went home and I cried onto my turntables. They got water damage.
Oh,
And,
sad face.
Elliot Ness had to fix them. No, it's funny. Now, and to think about it, because it's almost probably 10 years later, and so now I have a skill and that someone has shown me that also I have practiced a lot.
Practice these stuff. Somebody can be like, "Here, this is how you play the guitar. Let me show you."
No,
That'll never work.
What are
You
you
have to
gonna
sit there and practice this stuff.
Even if you have the
Any
worst
skill.
guitar,
Any
right.
skill all in
Any
life.
skill. Any skill.
Literally.
Right, and now
Any
I can,
job, any skill.
Right.
You're totally right. And the earlier you learn that, the better off you are. You're like,
Right.
there is a thing to everything. You know, there's the best chefs are good because they know things you don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, 100%.
and they
And
practice.
you fail,
Yeah,
right?
you fail.
Do you guys always, are you
course
always
you-
great?
No, always. No, you fail constantly, and that's what makes you learn.
Yeah.
Failure isn't something to look at as negative. It's like, oh,
Right.
great. How do I do this? Wait, that didn't sound right. I
Right.
got to go back to the drawing board. I got to figure it out. And then you do figure it out, then it's easy.
Right.
Create that muscle memory, and then you have it.
Yeah, it's great. And then
Muscle
it's like
memory,
I feel like
100%.
I feel like honestly I could show up like anywhere, like in like another state or whatever. And if there was like somehow somewhere where there's a group of turntablists, it's similar to like my metaphors a lot or skateboarding and BMX. A skate park mentality where you're just like, yo, how you doing? Like we're friends now for this time for this moment, you
we
know.
both know the same techniques.
Watch this, and I'll show you. Yeah, and we take turns
learn
and
off
figure
each other.
Yeah, and just bounce ideas.
Even when you guys were fucking around, I feel like you're still learning off each other. It's like, they got that. Let me grab this.
I did a couple things you've never seen before.
Yeah,
you did a little under. You guys both did the under the leg. I was like, oh, look at them.
Nice.
Like, damn.
Turntables are low today. We're lucky.
They're all low. They were too low to do the head trick. I screwed that up big time.
Hey,
So,
we
watch
still
the video.
appreciate the head effort.
Yeah.
If you didn't check out the YouTube video, go check it out.
No, that's good.
You better cut a clip of that.
Yeah, I gotta cut a clip of that nose.
No, I just messed that up. It was no
That
good.
was
That
nice.
would've-
I know
put-
Instagram's weird with fucking copyrights, but fuck.
They would
Facts.
have, yeah. They
I
would
don't
have been.
think the best thing is sometimes with the copyright thing, I can I'll do like a live video sometimes on Instagram, again at Clue Pro Quo, and I will
Facebook's worse.
I will fool the algorithm by just doing simple things, by juggling it up real quick, changing the pitch, changing the tone,
Yeah.
so I could play
Just a little quick some.
and I could play like a real heavily copyrighted song that I would definitely get
You
booted.
heard it here first.
Yeah,
Fuck
that I
with the
would-
music a little. You can put it on
Yeah,
Instagram.
that's the secret right there. Change the pitch, change the tone, and learn how to juggle.
But guys, I have like kind of 3 little points, if you don't mind,
Yeah, go
to
ahead.
kind of end the show with. The first is kind of a quick admiration for both of you. I just want to give you both a little shout out. I know, yeah. Aww. Should throw one of those drops. But you know, like for real, when I started going to rec shop back in the day, they were doing shit at Opus, and that's really how I think I came across both of you. So I was there doing like spoken word poetry, and I was probably the youngest one there, or one of the youngest ones. Like I never really put it out there, but like I just always vibed with older people, old soul young world. So I was doing my artistic shit. I got brought into rec shop. I met you guys through there. But when I saw you guys perform, when I saw you DJing, when I would be there, we would be, you know, having open mics, and you guys would be either just, you know, DJing for the open mic or performing at the open mic. How I felt about you guys performing was just like, honestly, I didn't know if we would ever come across each other again. I didn't know if our vibes would ever meet again, or if we would be in the same place. But you are so talented. And like, for me to have the chance to even tell both of you how talented you guys fucking are individually,
I appreciate that.
and how you inspired me, not even me doing DJing or me wanting to be a DJ or anything like that, but the fact of how artistic you are, being able to express it in that manner, and bringing something old school into today's day and age. Because as a young woman, being in the hip hop vibe and, you know, spoken word vibe, and a lot of like being around older guys and shit, like I didn't see anyone doing old school hip hop. I seen a lot of rap, a lot of shit talking,
Yeah.
a lot of talking down on women, a lot of shit that I didn't personally vibe with as my aura. You know what I'm saying? Like I was deep. So it's like, when you guys were performing, you didn't have to be talking, you didn't have to be saying anything,
Right.
but the beats that you were creating and the vibe that you were doing, like I remember seeing Slipwax specifically, Clue, like you were dope, and I saw you a few times. I know that.
Trust me, that was his show the whole
But
time.
Slipwax was like official there, you know what I'm saying? Like he
100%,
was the DJ there.
No, that
So
was
it's like,
his thing,
yo,
yeah.
I remember really, really seeing you and being like, yo, like that's how my soul feels. Like I felt those beats.
soulful.
It was so soulful. Like you brought that vibe that, you know, my parents didn't play for me. Nobody showed me. It was something that I felt. And when you played it, it was like, yo, have I heard this before? And it was like, yo, I think my soul's heard this before, because like I fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing about DJing and scratching and just what you guys do in general, is bringing something out of people that's like maybe they didn't even know was there. And so it's a vocabulary, it's a sensation, it's a language. You know what I mean? And like you guys spoke a language that I felt. So I admire you and I appreciate you. Everything you guys have done throughout the years, like we haven't seen each other.
I've been in Maine for 5 years.
You've been in Maine for 5 years, so it's probably been like almost 6 or 7 years.
I can't believe I
even
didn't
gonna
grow
fucking
a
lie.
giant beard or something. It's
Yeah, like
ridiculous.
you still look the fucking same. So good for you. Don't age a fucking bit, my friend.
I'll be fine.
But I just literally want to give you guys a shout out. Thank you even for, being willing to come on the show and share your talents, because a lot of young people don't get the chance to see what this is.
Right.
And I think it's important to bring it back into the culture. Like we were speaking of earlier, the culture is built by spoken word. It's built by people passing on gems, techniques, understanding of language, and understanding of art forms. Yep. And if we don't pass those on to, friends, family, younger generations, and people of the youth, where does it go? Yeah. It disappears, right?
No, 100%.
So we can never carry on scratching or spoken word or rap or hip hop or art or graffiti or anything like that unless we decide to share that with our people. So
I don't even know. Awesome. I don't even know someone in the Northeast region or even New England that is actually younger than me that practices scratching. If you could name like a couple kids.
There's a couple kids I know of actually that I've seen recently that are pretty good. But it's not like the main focus of kids. It was different for us when it was a little more popular. But that just because you like certain type of hip hop, and just because maybe you like trap, maybe you like hard trap, nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, that's great.
Right.
But doesn't mean you necessarily have to hate this kind of shit or like soulful type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's different types of music out there, and the people that like the more genres of music are the real people that know about music.
Right.
People that sit there and I know about music, but they only know one lane, or a lot of people.
You have to have a mix of
right. You can like
generational
scratching and stuff, and you can like hard trap, and you can like when you're in the car, your vibe is different from when you're in the club. When you're at home listening to your headphones, your vibe is you're not gonna listen to club music.
But you're always in like a club vibe or a rap vibe or a trap. Like, come on, you gotta switch it up. Like, where's your mind at?
People that know real music like all the genres.
I say I like everything but country.
I know that. I'm not a big fan.
Slipwax has never heard me say that. How'd you know that?
That's because everybody says that.
It's a big no-go.
You either like country.
That was crazy.
And I don't know. Country's you either like country or you don't. I don't think there's really much.
Just anything but country, please. Classical all day, jazz all day.
Actually, one thing I'll say though, because you're saying the vibe's different in your car versus a club versus your house versus your bedroom or whatever. I absolutely go ape by myself on the turntables at my crib. I pretend there's 7.
Yeah, that's the best thing about turntable. Put your headphones on and go in your imagination.
If you do end up in front of a bunch of people, hopefully you're slightly prepared to have that energy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And show and do your thing and spin around and still keep your composure.
Right. That's big.
Versus just like throwing a cake in someone's face or something or whatever these people do.
Right, or rapping over your lyrics over a beat that has.
I've seen some of the best performances.
You want to be a showman and do cuts like on the live. You got to take that into consideration that you might screw it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen some really good rap groups do a not good live show. And I know you have too.
You've seen some groups that you don't really notice on CD, but then you see them live and you're like, holy shit, these guys are amazing live.
Like Headshots. Shout out Headshots.
Amazing live.
Incredible, like chemistry. Like these kids all know each other so well. Slipwax has made beats and done mostly scratches for them. But these kids are nuts, and they do have that, cadence and energy and performance, and they do know each other, and it's obvious when you see people.
But if you want it, like to me, like somebody like Ari the Rugged Man is insane live. Like his live show is just something you have to see at some point.
That one show in Boston when he was losing it. Oh my goodness! Shout out RA. Wow. Yeah.
Puts on a great live show.
Oh, he's absolutely phenomenal. But the guy.
But then other people just don't put as much time into that, and they put it into the studio and everything.
Right.
But this is more of a performance-based thing. I mean, I definitely record scratches for tons of songs, and people ask me all the time for cut hooks and stuff. But as far as me doing my thing, it's really going fast and all that has to be done like live. That's not really where the record is, unless you're making a scratch record.
No,
right.
Or a song with scratches all over it.
Yeah,
but most cut hooks and stuff I do are very simple cuts that are just easy on the ears, that are cuts you could literally sing with. They fit really nice in the song.
I can't even make it through a movie or a cartoon or anything without finding something.
Wait, I need that cut.
Yeah,
wait, I need that cut.
Bad, yeah.
Hold up.
It takes me 7 hours to watch The Departed because every part is such a great sample. I'm like, oh my goodness.
God.
What did Alec Baldwin say? Gotta rewind that and
Stop it.
tag it, download it, put it in the
It's
computer.
tough though sometimes when you do the cuts for
How's
people.
Pulp Fiction for you?
I can't watch it because it's
My
too
favorite
awesome.
movie.
Too many samples.
It's too good.
Right.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel, Jesus.
Facts.
Yeah.
Relax. And you know, guys, like I feel like scratching and all that shit, and just in my mindset, is kind of like an old school vibe, like an old soul, old school. And past couple episodes I've asked everyone that I've had on the similar question, and I was just wondering individually, so you guys can do however you feel, but what it kind of means. What it kind of means to you guys within yourself to be an old soul in the young world, even if you're not an old soul in the young world.
Sure.
What does that mean to you?
For me, I definitely 100% am. Like my parents were super young when I was born, and I grew up around adults. And I grew up, like just when I was like probably like 8 years old, I was just like talking like kind of like this, and kids, I didn't relate to kids at school. I always hung out with older kids, hopping on my bike, hopping on the train, and just whipping a BMX bike into Boston and just figuring out like what is going on, you know what I mean? And understanding that, soccer practice wasn't where I was at. So I was like, I got to figure this out. And I just always knew it was different, I'm like, why do I love B-52s? You know what I mean? So much. A, because it's what I grew up listening to because of my parents. B, because it's just sick and dope.
Rock
and
Lobster.
It's
Come on, can you get even a better song than that?
insanity. It's insanity. The whole thing's nuts. But or like, you know what I mean? Like even ZZ Top had scratches in it. You know what I mean? At one point. And so I was just like, I don't know. It just relating to a whole different atmosphere because my grandfather raised me, kind of.
A different era.
Yeah. Or like everything. I love breakdancing, spray paint, cutting records. I don't rap. I just don't. I don't really care about that. But all those other things, they're just for me. It's just like late '80s, early '90s hip hop, and that was the golden era when you had to showcase your skills in a live environment and not just sit around and say like, pretend you're good at something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Facts.
No faking the funk.
Nope.
It was legitimate.
Yep.
As far as me being an old soul, I'm not really an old soul, but because I'm not even mature now.
I guess me neither, kid.
There can be two sides to a soul, right?
I mean, the only thing that makes me an old soul is my dedication. I feel like I work, and whatever I'm doing, I'm trying to do it number one. So if it's scratching, I'm not giving up. Right now, I mean, unless it doesn't make me happy. But if I'm doing it, like I've had the same job since my whole life. You know what I mean? I never gave up on that. And it's like this too. It's just what I like to do, and that's just what I am. And as far as this being like an old school thing, to me, it's not. It's more like the mainstream aspect of it is definitely old school. You don't see scratching in songs now, really. I mean, maybe a couple songs here and there you might hear a little cuts. I think I did cuts on that, like a token. I did him, and he's kind of a new school cat. And, he's got cuts on his stuff.
The very beginning of Workaholics has a nice little scratch.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then there's a piece of pizza on a Technic 1200 spins around.
That's pretty cool.
Facts.
But
Great show.
I forget what I was saying.
Tokens cut on his shit.
Oh yeah, he's a new school cat that puts cuts on it. But to me, like it's such a subgenre. Like I'm not really paying attention to what's going on in the rap world. It's my musical influence and source. Like I know there are cuts out there that I'm still learning that are still new to me. Like there are still new cuts that are coming out that like are only existing in this little niche group of DJs that knows anything about scratching. It's all throughout the world. There's a few pockets of cats that are just. If you coalesce them all together, there's a couple thousand of us, that really take it to that next level. And it might not be a mainstream thing to do, and you might not make it millions of dollars, but,
It's worth it.
It's definitely worth it. For your soul and for your, well-being. It's so fun.
It's like having, bonsai trees. You're just like, what? It's just why am I doing this? But it's satisfying because you get to control.
Very satisfying.
You get to control.
It's like making a beat
Well, you
is
said
very
it multiple
satisfying.
times. Therapy. It's like a release. It's therapeutic.
Super therapeutic. Because what else would if I had to come home, if I had to work and I come home, I don't want to just watch TV.
Right. Right.
And like this, I'm not going to sprain my ankle on.
Facts.
And it's not like a basketball. If I play basketball, I'd have to be in a league and I'd get smoked.
Right.
You know, this I can do it on my own. I can put my headphones on. I can practice on my own time, my own pace, my own will, and get however. And it's not all developed yet. There's still avenues where people haven't done stuff. Like it's still new. It's still a new instrument. There's still so much to be discovered. You know, and like if I can be one, like I've made up my own scratches that aren't existent in the world. You know, and like I try to push them and stuff. But like for me to be able to make up a move and like name it something and have it, that's crazy. Like think of the time we live in. We're living in that time that people refer back to. They're like, remember back in the day when, you know, jazz musicians did this, you know, and like we are that now. You know, like,
100%.
like they're gonna look back and like those turntablist cats, even though it wasn't popular, they kept it going.
Facts.
And now today, maybe it's gonna be different in the future because the sounds that are coming out of DJs that are scratching are way different than the sounds that were ever in 80s scratch song, like 80s rap songs. That was all just, you know, like the best you ever got was getting jiggy with it. You know, I think they had the guy was chirping in the background.
Yeah, or like little Timbaland, you know, Timbaland ad libs kind of that sounded like scratchy.
But I'm talking about like hard scratching, like fast scratching.
100%.
You know, like they were doing it up to a point.
Oh, and
like,
one thing I wanted to add too for people that are listening and they want to pursue like an avenue to learn more about this type of particular genre of hip hop. Watch the documentary that's literally just called Scratch, and you can find the full documentary on YouTube. The audio isn't so hot, so you're going to have to play with the audio a little bit, but it's worth a watch because it's literally just called Scratch, and it'll actually go over a lot of the points we went over and show you kind of from beginning, middle, to end of that particular era, which the end of that particular era was like when like Mixmaster Mike started coming on to the Beastie Boys after DJ Hurricane left Beastie Boys. And that was when I was in 5th grade and I had the Beastie Boys Hello Nasty tape. Yeah. And I'm playing that, you know, Intergalactic obviously was a huge one, la la la. And they always will shout out their DJ throughout their song, you know, Mixmaster Mike, you know, with the scratch routine, la, 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 la. And I was like, dang, who is this guy? So then you still don't have, same as 7L and Esoteric, I still didn't have the capabilities to just look it up and get a Wikipedia on who these people were.
Do your research.
Yeah, so I was like, well, Mixmaster Mike, that sounds crazy. And then like my buddy's older brother had the Scratch VHS and we watched it. And then there's Mixmaster Mike explaining a lot of things about what he does. He puts on like a Robert Redford record, remember? I got music on my mind. Yeah, and then he scratches it over
it's a cool thing.
Mobb Deep or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a discipline.
Oh, Dead Press.
It definitely takes, you know, you to sit down and really try to work it out. You can't just sit there and just, I don't know. You got to really go at it.
Takes forever. And if you ever buy turntables, real ones, don't sell them.
Hang on to those things.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Do a pair of fucking Jordans or something.
Who signed this
Be
one?
worth millions.
This turntable has been all over. I mean, this is signed by
How many signatures?
Rob Swift from the Executioners. This is
See Cubert's tag.
Hubert. Pete Rock is on here somewhere. This is Premier.
DJ
I'm
Premier.
touching a classic
DJ Premier, Pete
turntable,
Rock,
guys.
Hubert.
Be jealous.
Boom.
Actually, you know who else signed this was like RJD2, but it rubbed off. So,
Damn.
yeah.
My finger's on fire.
Yeah.
Who else would I have sign that? I usually will have a DJ sign it. I played a show with everybody there is, and I never have them sign my turntables, but just only like the DJs that make that name, like Premier and Pete Rock is on there, and
Means some.
yeah, like to me, that's a lot.
And, you know, guys, to end the show off, Clue, I just want to, you know, give you a little shout out because you are the reason that we put this whole thing together tonight.
Yes, thank you.
For you even reaching out. So the funny thing is, I was going to reach out to Clue.
Oh.
He beat me to the fucking
Your
punchline.
ears were ringing.
Yes, my ears were ringing. So actually for a while, I was like, I didn't think you'd want to come on the podcast because you're an artist.
No, I've never like just spoken to a mic for hours, and I got a lot to say, and so does this guy. So
You guys fucking do.
Yeah,
And
we got more.
I don't feel like this is going to be like, you know, the last of it. I mean, if you
we'll
guys.
be back. Try and keep us out.
Yeah, try to keep them out.
From
Guys,
around here.
We don't want them out. We want them in. We want them on Old Soul Young Worlds every
I
week.
think you need to have a turntable set up here all the time. Like this looks cool on this table.
It really does look good
You know, it
as
looks efficient.
shit. Makes the studio look official.
I have to buy a couple. They're hard to find. I bought them. I think we bought them all off Craigslist. I don't know what happened.
I bought one brand
Shout
new.
out Craigslist.
It was a gift.
But anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Anyway, sorry. So I just want to shout out you and everything that you've been doing, all the hard work you've been putting in, the effort, the time. I know you're a full-time artist as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to hold up, this little piece that you made me. Actually, I want you to hold it a little closer to the camera if possible.
Ooh, this is cool. This is
Fire.
I figured it was like time relevant throwbacks are big and everything. And this is a Nintendo 64 controller that I hand cut from medium density fiberboard, and then I hand paint it with a series of kind of like paint markers, spray paint, and then I use acrylic and an airbrush. After that, I seal it.
My ears.
I seal it off with a 2-part epoxy. So picture like a clear coat that you'd use on like a boat or something, and you mix the epoxy up and you pour it over and go to bed and cross your fingers and hope for the best, and then and just
came out
screw it
real
up.
fucking clean.
Thank
That's
you.
all
He's got
I'm
a lot of his
saying.
things like sneakers.
She looks like a real
You
controller.
should check out his Instagram. It's amazing. There's
check out
awesome
my
stuff.
Instagram. Thank
And that
you,
was
dude.
again. Could you please?
It's a Clue Pro Quo, CLUE PRO, Quo. And this one I put high-powered magnets on the back so you can stick it to your fridge. Those are fun.
Yay!
Make your fridge super baller. I got a show January 24th in Lebanon, Maine at the Community Bonfire. You can do hashtag Community Bonfire. It's open to recreational and med patients as well. If you are a cannabis connoisseur, I highly suggest coming through. This is the first one where I have my own booth, and I'm splitting that with my boy Float Goat from Connecticut. Shout out Float Goat. He's an absolute giant monster of a man, and I really like him a lot. We've met a bunch of times and decided to team up for this one. So I've been literally working for like the past 3 months straight, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week on all this new artwork.
Damn.
Again, you can see it on my Instagram. I have large wood cutouts in the shape of Scrooge McDuck with gold leaf, money eyes, and insane, just like all hype. I got fridge magnets like this one.
Skeletor you did is just
The Skeletor is a blast. I got Cringer the cat. I got
and
all
you
these
see all of these
G.I. Joe throwbacks.
But it's
I
like you shine a black light on it, and there's this sheen that
black
comes
light,
across.
yeah,
It's
all these
unbelievable.
black light reactive.
Yeah.
I brought Jesse this fridge magnet today. I have a whole line of these like bootleg knockoff Louis Vuitton fridge magnets. That
Oh,
are
they're
all
so dope. He sent me a
gold
video
leaf.
of them. I
Thank
want
you.
one. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lie.
Those are going to be crazy.
Those are fire.
And they're not cheap, but I'll tell you what, you got to make your fridge ballin'. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Some-
ball your fridge up.
artwork,
I'm out
right.
here with an
The original
exclusive
artwork.
piece. Excuse me very much.
Yeah, no, I'm
You
excited.
can't just go buy that.
No, they're all one of one, all custom made, custom cut. So thank you.
Shout out Clue Pro Quo.
My list fills up really quick. I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but it just happens like that. And
Hey.
especially after this July 24th, after that, it's gonna be booked out for months. And next up, I'm gonna buy like a tattoo machine and start getting into that. And I have just like a lot of like plans to.
And then a plane.
Yeah, and then an airplane. Yeah, we're me and Slipwax are
A
getting
tattoo machine and an airplane. You heard him here.
We're getting
Tattoo
Heard
on
me
a
here first.
skydive and
a
scratch
private,
rigged.
private
Stop it.
Cessna. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's gonna have turntables set up in the plane too. It's crazy.
Fellas are gonna be turntables.
Yeah. No, but excuse me. On the real, like I do custom commissions, so nothing really is like out of hand as far as like ideas. You know, we can work together. That's how it works. So feel free to DM me at Clue Pro Quo. I'm telling you, just take a look at the art and then let the wheels start spinning. Figure out what you like and holler.
I'm telling you right now, his work is so clean. It is so fire. It is so crisp. I've literally hit him up on multiple things, from your shoes.
Yeah,
that
I do custom kicks,
He
too,
does
yeah.
custom kicks. They're fire as fuck.
Thank
I
you.
hear him up like, yo, how do you do it? You guys, what paint do you use?
Oh my
like,
God, those
you know
take
what I mean? I
so
was over
long.
here thinking I could paint them, and I'm like, yo, it's still a lot of work. I don't even think I can do
Oh my
this
god,
shit.
Yeah, those are a
Like,
nightmare.
I
but yeah.
see the time that you put in. You really
you.
put the time and effort. Like,
Yeah, no, it's dead serious.
those
I have-
Louis Vuitton, like you sent me a little behind the scenes clip of those.
Yeah.
Woo!
Thank you. No, it's dead serious. Get ready to, if you want to do something like that, like you got to know how to use power tools and stuff like that. It's not like
cut your finger off.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that because I'm trying to DJ. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
not just painting, guys.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. I don't use a 3D printer or nothing like that, and I don't cut any corners, so to speak. See what I did there?
That was pretty good.
Yeah, you like that?
Pun.
Yeah. No, but I appreciate you, and I love the fact that we're highlighting that because it's literally my life. I decided to go full time about a year and a half ago or something like that, and it's literally how I put food on my table. So don't take it lightly. Holler at me when you need something.
Hey, you already know. So guys, I just appreciate having both of you so much separately. You know, I want to do this again. There's so much to say. There's so much artistic vibes to be spread. Yeah. But in general, I just appreciate you guys as individual souls.
No, thank you.
You know, being an artist, also doing your DJing, DJ Slipwax, being a amazing DJ, doing all your shit. You know, I think you actually just got a text when we were on break a little while ago about to do some national shit.
Yep.
You already know.
Some dope shit.
He wants to hide
I gotta
it, but
make a
it's
call
fine.
after this.
New teams.
We all gonna make calls. We doing big things. We got festivals going on. We got art being sold. We got DJs popping around the world. We got podcasts happening. We got 10 people on the team over here. A Vibe podcast. Old Soul Young World.
These are all true things.
These are all true things.
Hey,
you know, guys, episode 27 here. We are just... Huh? Episode 27, you already know we getting up there. We right in the middle. We at that nice golden age, you know. We got a lot of things popping. We got a lot of people who are going to be coming on. 27, what a nice age.
I'll get there someday.
But again, appreciate the new addition to my collection of art.
Soon you'll have a gallery.
Yes, hit up Clue, guys. Like, I'm so excited for this new piece that he gave me. Is so fire. If you're listening or you're on my Instagram or YouTube, you can see a picture attached. You can always hit me up or see any of my information, my podcast, my pictures at JESSIE_ELLLY. We might be soon changing that to Old Soul Young World. You know, we're chopping it up, trying to figure that out right now.
Do it.
Everyone says yes, so it might be a yes in the next week or so. But follow me at Jessie Ellie or at Old Soul Young World. Again, you can follow Slipwax at
DJ Slipwax or DJ _Slipwax.
Don't forget the underscore.
Yeah, no, if you put in Slipwax, it'll come up.
It'll still come up, though. He's the only one.
First one that pops up.
And you can follow Clue at...
Yeah, mine's Clue Pro Quo. And my little kind of profile picture, if you will. It's like a little cute little penguin. He's on turntables.
He's so cute.
His name is Pingo.
Right when you see, you'll be like, that's the one.
Yeah, little blue penguin on turntables. He looks a little bit sad, but he's aight.
He's cute, though. Follow him up. Follow him up. Follow him up. Follow up Old Soul Young World on Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube. We got everything coming out. Every week when we have people who are willing to drop a YouTube video, we will be dropping a YouTube video. So, you know, tune in, watch these two dudes chop it up on the turntables, do some crazy freestyles. They do some under the leg, behind the back. Skirt.
Acrobatic maneuvers.
Acrobatic DJ maneuver artist vibes.
Flip it up and flip it out.
I didn't think Slipwax still had it.
But... Slip it. Question mark.
No,
anyway.
much love, Jesse, for having us. I truly
for having us.
I appreciate you. This is highlighting a lot of great things, and I can't say enough about how great of a host you are.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I appreciate both of you guys, everything you had to say. And you know, my Old Soul Young World audience, we will be having these gentlemen back to chop it up in the future. Yes. Who knows? We might have some big moves. We might have some events. We might have some things going on.
Two other DJs in here for us to battle.
Ooh!
Uh-oh.
Maybe they'll battle my producers. Ooh! Biz and JQ, am I calling you out?
Oof.
Question mark.
We're not DJs, though. I mean...
Hey, we can still have a battle.
We could get some of the table manners cats in here, too.
Guys, and right now we've been recording for like 3.5 hours because we've just been chopping the fuck up. We have so much to say, so many vibes to be heard and told. Everybody listening in, I hope that you have a great week, that you look within yourself, you find some motivation from these two men who've been doing their thing as artists, DJs, working, building, myself building, my team building. You have to work to become more. You have to be down to become better, get down to come up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can only get better if you become worse. That's the only way, guys. And be dedicated, be motivated, and keep pushing forward. I'm one example. DJ Slipwax is one example. Clue is one example. Biz is one example. So, tune in with us every week to be motivated, to catch the vibes, to feel it here on Old Soul, Young World with your host, Jesse Ellie.
Old Soul, Young World.
Come out and